Just a quick shout out, NordVPN Defense Play of the Week. It is back.
Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. And do not forget, tonight, 6 o'clock, Bloke spray jackets are going live. We've got the maroon, we've got the blue. You don't want to miss out. A very limited number, and they are $99.95. So that is at bloke.shop. Set your alarms. Do not miss it. 6 p.m. tonight. We've got maroon and blue. Once they're gone, they're gone. We won't be doing this design unless something crazy happens, but we won't be doing this design again. So make sure to be there. Alrighty, now it's time now for Code Sports. Use code BLOKE for a Code Sports subscription for $49 for the year. Head to codesports.com.au/bloke. Tyson, how you going, brother? What's the big story today?
Yeah, good. Look, huge story this morning as we were coming into studio. Andrew Abdo has resigned from his role with the NRL as CEO of the NRL to what we believe is take up a role with Tennis Australia. So they're in the middle of TV negotiations at the moment. A whole lot's going on around the game. We're 2 days out from State of Origin, and this bombshell's dropped. Andrew Abdo going to be leaving the NRL for a different opportunity, which also means that Peter V'landys will step in as an interim CEO for the meantime, which makes the most powerful man in rugby league even more powerful now. It's pretty crazy. It's all happened so quickly. Reasons and kind of, reasons why this has happened isn't too clear just yet, as it's only broken in the last hour. But look, Abdo, he's been in charge for about 6 years now. I think he came in just after Todd Greenberg and has done a terrific job. And it's a huge loss for the NRL, I believe, because I think he's done a great job over the last 6 years.
Yeah, timing's definitely interesting. You'd have to sit there and say the timing's interesting, but at the same time, it's kind of like when would be a good time? Like NRL is such a big beast. Something big is always just around the corner. I'd love to know, obviously he says he's resigned, but as we know with these certain situations, maybe he did just resign. Maybe he was, told to resign. That'd be a really interesting bit of information that'll come out eventually. Thoughts, Roo?
PVL starting to get a bit of Jackie Moon about him from the Flint Tropics, playing power forward for his own team. Yeah. He's doing it all, wearing all the hats.
I like it. I love it.
Yeah. Interesting timing for it. Such a, probably the peak 6 weeks of the competition coming up. But I think to your point, mate, questions. Resigned or what's going on here?
Well, yeah, that's the question, because if it's resigned, and look, maybe this is a little bit harsh, but it's like, fuck, leaving us in the lurch, in the peak of the year, surely maybe wait till off season or whatever. Now, granted, I'm sure he'll see out the rest of this season, and then he'll be off to the tennis.
I'm not too sure on that. It seems as though that the actual date of his departure is not clear just yet.
Yeah, okay.
I reckon he'd probably have to go right away.
Yeah,
because you need a big lead into the Australia. That's.
I'm pretty sure it's now because V'landys has stepped in as interim. That's already been decided.
So I guess that really does whether he chose to resign or whether he was pushed to kind of make that decision. That kind of really weighs on how I feel about it. If he just resigned, boom, in the middle of everything, it's like, from a rugby league perspective, that's not great. But if he was pressured into kind of moving on, then obviously there's nothing he can do about that. In regards to his tenure, boys, I understand people's current frustration with how far the Six Agains have gone. That seems to be a lot of the people's, on the Instagram post that we put up, a lot of people's frustrations with Abdo. But I think if you take a bird's eye view of what he's achieved, him and V'landys in the last 6 years, it's nothing but a success. Yes, okay, have they, in my opinion, you guys know, I think they've gone a little bit too far with Six Agains. But outside of that, we're talking Vegas, we're talking expansion, we're talking the most revenue we've ever got, we're about to head into the biggest rights deal we ever got. We're talking, a lot of people feel like last year was one of the best years we've had in a very long time. The product is flying. So, how can you not say that's a success? It's not perfect, but I think it's a success.
Yeah, it's not perfect. You hear, I'm getting people all the time, the game's dead, I'm never watching it again, I won't be back now. It's like, okay, well, everything's being watched more. Our podcast numbers are going up. Magic Round gets better every year. Vegas is sensational. For all the things you want to complain about, something's fucking working. Yeah. Something is working.
Absolutely. And the numbers would suggest that. Record-breaking years, essentially. Crowds are up as well.
Yeah, even have a look. Last week, you had the Women's Origin Game 1. It's the first game of Women's Rugby League we've seen in a year, and it got more views than the AFL game that night. Unreal.
Which is... So, and don't conflate this with, I guess, any of us saying that it was a perfect tenure. As I said, I think their implementation of new rules has been really poor. I think they need to test it in New South Wales Cup and Queensland Cup before they do it. The amount of change that has happened, like you got to remember, we had these crazy changes in 2021, and then they brought it all back to six agains inside the 40, and they've tried to go back closer to the 2021, and I think that's gone too far. So it's not that they're perfect at all. Like there's plenty to critique, but I think if you're looking at a bird's eye view, I think I would give it a tick, and I'm happy with what Abdo's done for the game.
I would also give it a tick. I agree. I think the last 5 or 6 years it's been so exciting, so many new innovations. Vegas you spoke about, it puts rugby league on the back and the front page of the paper at that time of year, which has blown other codes out of the water. A lot of exciting things. They're even talking now about global rounds, all that sort of stuff. So there's been a lot of exciting initiatives. Magic round, another one that's kind of come in over the last few years. So yeah, it's been a hell of a tenure. Not perfect, as you say, but I think there's a lot of positives that have come out of it. I think he's done a very good job. So,
what CEO would be perfect?
Exactly. That's the whole point of the role, isn't it? It's like you've got to eat a few shit sandwiches and deal with some tough situations. But I think when you look at it, his legacy's been a good one.
You have to judge it as a success, right? Because before Abdo was in power, and this is someone who loves rugby league to death, the NRL and rugby league was not the biggest sport in Australia. I can comfortably say now, and as you guys would all be able to back me up, we are well above, I'd say almost everyone that we're competing
Viewership-wise,
with.
there's still the argument around
attendance and whatnot
Yep.
still, but more people are watching rugby league than ever. We see the space that we are in the media and in independent media where numbers are continually growing, and it shows how big the game has gotten. We're going overseas. We're getting big crowds overseas. We're doing certain things. We're about to launch a team in Perth. We're about to launch a team in Papua New Guinea. All of this comes off the back of the success which Abdo has brought. And like you guys said, obviously not perfect. There's all gripes around the game, especially this year. It's probably come at a good time, right, where we probably need someone a bit fresh. But you can't say it hasn't been a success because the numbers don't lie.
Yeah. On top of all that, the women's game has grown every single year. The product there is fantastic as well. So I think it's very easy to nitpick or to use Hammy's words, eating shit sandwiches, which I thought was fantastic, by the way.
Thanks, mate.
But there's a lot of successful things in there, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Plenty of sandwiches to go around, guys.
Yeah. And I think also like the six again thing, like
Is that a South Dowling special or?
No, they do great work. I'm a Hugo man with a bit of Dijon mustard.
in regards to the six again, like I'm not in the camp of the six again is just bad. Like, guys, I think you're forgetting the game was getting to this grinding, slow halt before the six again rule. So, as anything, it's it's not black and white. It's in the middle somewhere. It's a grey area, and I think the six again, like that's probably going to be the most contentious topic around his tenure. I think another thing as well is like, and I say this respectfully, but Landys is very involved with a lot of the things that happen in the game. How much is it is Landy saying this is what I want to do, and Abdo saying this is what I want to do? You have to take that into consideration. We've never really seen a chairman of the commission be this aggressively involved in running the game, and it's worked, but you have to also remember that. So if you're going to be critical and say, he wasn't good, then you also have to say, well, how much of it was his decision? If you're going to say he was good, you also have to say, well, also, was it Landy or was it him? That's something you've got to consider.
I think as well with these six agains, and they annoy me as well. It's frustrating, but you go back to 10 years ago, like the conversation was the wrestling's ruining the game. Like the reality is that, in my opinion, Abdo and PVL have addressed that they're in the entertainment business. They're trying to make the game as entertaining as it possibly can. These blowout scores, it might be frustrating. There's no doubt whatsoever, in my opinion, it is more entertaining than the wrestling we were getting 10, 15 years ago, which has brought more people to the game, more eyeballs to the game. We're in the highlights era, no matter what sport you're looking at. I also think with a lot of the decisions they make, there's no doubt they've gone out of their way to make sure rugby league is front and centre as much as they possibly can. Good decisions, bad decisions. If we're front and centre, I think that's sort of where we want to be.
Well, that's been rugby league's magic. Is it just embracing the fact that, hey, news is news. Now, granted, we don't want that fucking weird stuff that's actually ethically bad, but a bit of negativity, a bit of that, like that's what we've embraced as a game, and it's something that I don't want to put the boot in a Union who actually are doing quite well and turning things around, but like that's something I feel like Union they were so averse to, like no negative, nothing. We don't want the drama. We don't anything. And it sells papers. It gets people watching.
Well, rugby league's a sport that it seems to, no matter when, and from when I started watching and when you guys started watching, when you were playing campy, you shoot yourself in the foot, and your foot just heals better than it did.
No one shoots themselves in the foot better than rugby league. It's like, you talk to anyone, everyone hates NRL 360, but you can all tell me what happened on it. You're tuning in every week.
Alrighty, well, that's the Code Sports story of the week. Anything else big coming out this week on Code Sports, mate?
Yeah, look, we just broke as well this morning. Roger Tuivasa checked looks to have played his last NRL game, torn his ACL over the weekend, which is terrible news, especially with how well the Warriors are going. And it would have been such a fairy tale if Roger could have finished his career on such a high with a grand final or a premiership potentially. So that's some sad news that's broken this morning. And Origin on Wednesday night, we'll have all your coverage. Literally, we're going to have every reporter there at the game ready to give every little bit of detail as it happens and after the game as well. So stay tuned for all of that.
And also, guys, another big announcement. Save the date, 24-hour live stream for Jai Arrow, June 26th. 24 hours, one cause, end motor neuron disease. This is presented by the Buy Round. I'll be there. I'm sure Rue will be there. I'm sure Hammy, you don't even probably know about it yet. But
No, I do. We had Charlie White on Win, Learn or Draw this week. I'll be out of the country, but I think Elliot will be there,
Okay.
my Win, Learn or Draw co-host.
So we were considering doing, I was considering doing something for Jai, but when situations like this arise, you don't want to split attention and you don't want to split. So we're all in with the Buy Round. We're all behind them, guys. The bloke will be as much a part of this stream as Buy Round want us to be. We are fully behind it, guys. It is June the 26th. Make sure to set the date. We will continue to promote it. 24-hour live stream. And so I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'd assume there'll be a lot of talent coming through in that 24 hours that is going to be super fun, incredible moment. So that is the Buy Round. Get around them. We'll be getting around them as much as possible, and we'll be continuing to promote it. So June 26th, set the alarms. And also, Wednesday night after Origin, we will be doing our Origin review, myself, Blake Austin, and Rennie Matua. And also, Rue will be doing his own Origin review that he does every single year with Tommy Jaeger. So make sure to set your alarms for that. Alrighty, let's just get straight into the show then. Face the Music, proudly brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. Yeah,
let's get into it. Shortened round this week, so not as many points up for grabs, but we'll rip straight in. On Thursday night, the Raiders 22 were defeated by the Dolphins 30. No points for anyone. We all thought we all went the Raiders. Thought the Dolphins had too many injuries, too many out through Origin as well. Kempy in particular, you had the Raiders 13 plus, chasing your tail a little bit here.
Yeah, listen, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
You were the furthest off the mark on Thursday.
Yeah, but it's all the same off the mark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you were the furthest off.
Yeah, but like
Please show you to put your tips in.
Yeah, for didn't put his tips
sunk
in.
my ship again.
Well, if you had a bit of ticker about you and you didn't fucking have a sore fingernail.
It was off the back of the bravest magic round the world has ever seen.
Oh, bravest one the world's ever seen.
The world ever seen.
Did you take your trophy in the end?
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah, biggest carry. Yeah. The most carry-on maybe I've ever seen. The most carry-on.
So I was there on Thursday trucking nut.
Oh my God. Don't pretend like you're some fucking martyr here. You could have put your tips
There's no
in,
pretending here. No pretending at all, mate.
Oh my God.
We'll roll on to Friday. Dogs 30 defeat the Storm 20. A lot of love for the Dogs on the show. Tommy Jaeger, who submitted tips on your behalf, and Matty had the Dogs head-to-head for $1.89. Kempy, you had them 1 to 12 for $3.10.
Oh, that's rugby league tipping.
That's
getting you just straight in, baby.
Don't see too many 1 to 12s these days with the new rules and stuff, but there you go. Kempy's picked a good one there. On to Saturday. The poor old Dargans, 12 defeated by the Wars, 30. For some reason, all you guys like the Dragons. Kempy in particular, Dragons 13 plus, was an interesting call. I took the Wars to cover the 13.5. Get around me. $1.90 in the bank for me.
Boring.
Only person to get points from that one. Then we go to Foz Bowl on Saturday night. Geez, this was a bit of a slinger, this one, to be polite. Manly 12 defeat the Titans 10.
This is a slinger for the ages.
Slinger for the ages.
Yeah.
Tell the grandkids about it one day. Decent effort from the Titans, fair to say. Not decent enough for Kempy. The Titans 13 plus. Seeing them like grains of sand here at the moment, Kempy. Manly certainly didn't
Still
cover
ahead, though.
Didn't cover the 12.5, which most of us had. Then we go on to
Am I still ahead?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
but you don't stay there.
like
Last game of the round. Cowboys 30.
That game. I thought I had Manly head-to-head.
You had Manly 13 plus.
Fucking Tommy.
Dumb tipping,
Moron.
Dumb tipping.
Moron.
Cowboys 30 defeat Souths 18. A lot of wild swings here, particularly Kempy had the Rabbitohs 13 plus. Good stuff, mate. Going really well. Good stuff. Rue, you had the Cowboys 13 plus. I had the Cows minus 2.5. Only want to get points from this one. So for round 12, shortened round, as I mentioned, myself, $3.80. Get around me. Kempy, $3.10. Yeah.
Thank you.
Rue and Tom Jaeger, a.k.a. Rue, $1.89. So that brings us home for round 12. Overall, Rue.
Sorry, did Matty collect anything then?
Yeah, he got $1.89 as well. Okay. He had a head-to-header for the Dogs. Now, overall, Rue, $103.36. Myself, $101.08. Jeez, getting tight at the top.
Big Dogs at the
Daylight, Then Matty, $85.24. Kempy, $59.59. And Timmy, $45.72.
I'm just chasing my tail down here at the bottom, to be honest. I'm swinging too big.
Worth mentioning, though, we did get involved in the early try scorer market for Origin. So I've got a couple of live options here. You had Ruben Cotter at $11.75. So that's worth keeping an eye on. Matty, you've got Reece Robson at $16. I've got Finny Fuiaki, who's still in the extended squad. You know, will we or won't we see him kind of come into it? He's $10. Brew, you had Campbell Graham at $9.75. So
yeah, well done.
Probably won't.
Good value there.
Well done. And you know what's crazy is he had the lowest odds too. Like, that's what you deserve, coward stuff. Picking a winger.
That's fair.
Yeah. Give us a follow on the feed, though. There'll be a lot of Origin multis, same game multis on. Don't forget you can same game multi. Player of the match, India same game multi for State of Origin as well. I like the Psycho Plath. I reckon at $26 thereabout. I reckon he's going to be my man of the match.
I like that as well, unfortunately.
Yeah. We'll do some Origin tips at the
I
end.
imagine Kohler would have been a good value 2 weeks ago when we picked those.
For the first try, the anytime
for
try
a
scorer,
try
mate.
scorer.
He would have been. I'll dig it up over the course of the show. But if you got on him, well done.
I'd say Jojo for feeder as well would have been unreal value.
Oh, he would have been good.
I wonder if he would have
Was even
been
on the
there.
thing, yeah.
Yeah. I'll do a bit of digging while we rip through the show. But if you got on those guys, congrats. Got him starting on the wing.
Okay, let's get into some Origin chat just quickly. Boys, Root, how we feeling? What's the vibe like heading into game one? Teams pretty relatively even matched. Obviously, you guys missing Haas. We're missing Dearden. How you feeling, mate?
Yeah, I think it's a weird lead up this week. I don't know. It doesn't. I wouldn't say it feels less, but I just think there's so many unknowns for both teams. Like I'm very nervous about the side. Not so much our starting 13. I'm okay with our starting 13 based on what we had available to pick. The bench I'm really concerned about. But then I look at your team and there's a lot of question marks in your side
100%.
as well. So it's a weird Origin. I don't know how to. I think the Maroons are at $2.45. I think that's outrageous.
Yeah.
I think that's ridiculous. I think it should be much tighter than that. I think it's just about even money for me at the moment. But yeah, I don't know what to expect, and I hate to say it, but mate, I think it's going to come down to how it's officiated. Realistically, I think
That
you can.
sucks to even say.
It sucks to say it, but I don't know how you can ignore it. Like I think the Blues in particular have come in with a plan around how it's going to be officiated. With it's from what I've been told, it sounds like the plan is for Blake Brayley to be a part of this side on the field, so to run with 2 hookers, Victor Radley, obviously a smaller body through the middle. So I think we're going to know 10 or 15 minutes into this game who's got it right and who hasn't.
It's weird because it's almost flipped. Like you look at the New South Wales, starting side, big, powerful.
Yep.
The bench is smaller. Then you look at the Queensland side, and it's a super mobile starting side. But then you look at the bench, it's a bunch of big boppers, really.
Yep.
I mean, not huge, but pretty big boppers in today's game.
What are you like? I'm not expecting the Blues to make any changes before kickoff. Are you expecting the Maroons to?
Yeah. I don't think so. Like maybe. No, you start Cotter, you start Catewell. Maybe one of the front rowers. He does have like Queensland do change a front rower here or there. But
Flegler's name to start right now.
yeah,
isn't
Flegler
he?
and Tino.
Yeah. The other one that I would be doing if I was Billy, I think I'd be starting Plath at 9, bringing Harry Grant on after about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Just get through that shit early.
Yeah. It's going to be like, it sucks that the reffing is like such a big part of the conversation, but it really will define, like you've got 2 kind of mindsets heading into the game of basically a flip of the coin as to who's going to get it right, really.
Yes. Well, I would be betting on the whistle will be swallowed early.
But Ashley Klein notoriously, I think last year, game 1, he gave a fucking 6 again away in the first set.
3 penalties in the first 6 minutes.
Like, how does that make sense? You haven't even given the players and the teams time to set themselves and go back and forth and see what the tempo of the game is.
You see he's now even for Origins refereed as Bill Harrigan.
He's had 13 in a row. And this is what I don't get. Listen, if you want to say Ashley Klein or Origin, that's fine. Reffing is a super hard job. 13 games in a row, he's been the best ref in the country. Bro, there's not even an NRL player that's the best fucking NRL player every single week for 13 games in a row, let alone how hard reffing is. How?
Bizarre.
And also, 13 games in a row, but all the years apart too. So every year he's just happened to be the best ref. Like, bro, I don't know. Anyway. I don't want to be too negative, but it's still worth talking about, in my opinion.
Oh, man, I think it will go a long way to deciding this game, how it is played. And this is where I have my concern that I think we're going to get out there. We're not quite sure what the product's going to look like, how the game's going to flow. And I think that of the two coaches, you've got the coach that will respond better, I think, which is my big worry.
Does Daly have any current coaches in his team that's going to be in the box with him?
I really hope so, because that's my big concern, that Slater has got his ear to the ground. He's involved with the Melbourne Storm. Daly's not involved with any NRL side. And I think, if I'm honest, I think that reflects in the team he's picked as well. I don't think it suits the modern game overly well. I'll happily walk that back if we do well and win.
He's got Boydo there. Boyd Cordner's in there, assistant coach.
Boyd there, yep.
So he's very fresh. Not very, but pretty fresh from the game.
He is, yeah. But, even Boyd is coaching SG Ball and all that. Like, I hope there are other people in there that have got their ear to the ground in the NRL each and every week, like Slater, as we know he does. And maybe Daly does. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's my big concern, that I think that these Origins are quite often decided in the coach's box by how you respond to what you see out there. And I just fear that Slater's going to see it a lot better than what Daly will and respond to it better.
Now, just in regards to the reffing, I put up a video on my story like yesterday, I think it was. And usually I don't want to be too negative, so I try not to speak about, the reffing or whatever. But basically it was Adam Elliott's tackle on Taumalolo. So he wins the contact, he pushes him back, gets him on his back, then gets a six again against him, even though he won the tackle. It was a dominant tackle. And also Taumalolo was holding his shirt. But I'm okay to, let's say he got it, didn't win the tackle and Taumalolo was holding his shirt and a six again was given away. I'm okay to give the referee the grace of he didn't see the hand holding him down. I just think that that's such a good example, a small 10-second example of how far from the spirit of rugby league we've come, where a ref can watch a dominant tackle happen, Taumalolo gets put on his back, and he gives a six again away. And when I say dominant tackle, I'm saying he got driven back 3 meters and put on his back. And that's my concern heading into this game is is it truly going to be like touch footy? Because we're going to get to a point, and this is where I think the starting side for Queensland really helps, is we may get to a point where Billy is telling his back row and even his front row, don't even worry about wrestle. Your job is, as soon as you hear held, get back to a marker. Don't sit there and, put your hands all through it. Because it feels like the game's getting to a point where there is zero wrestle, zero holding down, zero putting your hands in and slowing everything down. And there's zero reward for dominant and big hits. If I'm a coach these days, I'm honestly telling my players, I don't want to see a big hit. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
If you scream out of the line and all the boys are going to be big hit or whatever, you're probably going to cost us a fucking quick play of the ball, and everyone's passed the ball now, and they're going to be in behind us.
Yeah, that's if you get that hit perfectly right. You're not a centimetre too high. That's if the player doesn't fall. That's if the other team doesn't choose to challenge it. And there's so much that goes into it nowadays.
So it's we have become the ruck and the spirit of rugby league, which is about physicality. That, I think that being a guy that came from soccer into league, I've got a really good view on the special parts of rugby league that separate it from other sports. It's not skill. It's not fitness. It is probably fitness and size mixed with each other. That is a unique part of rugby league, but it's the toughness. It's the physicality. It's the mental toughness and the physical toughness. And so it used to be, if you win that physical battle, you are rewarded for it in defense. We are not rewarding players for winning that physical battle anymore. And that's my concern heading into this one where, I don't want to see touch footy just like this in Origin. Just like this. That's not rugby league. That's Oztag. It's touch footy.
Do you think that's what we're going to see?
I hope not. I hope he allows the fucking teams playing each other. I say this ad nauseum, so I'm sorry, guys, listening, but at least give them 4 sets. So go 2 sets, 2 sets. Don't blow, unless it's a head high or foul play or whatever, let them set the. So, for example, let's say New South Wales get the ball. They come out of their own end, and Queensland are lying all in the ruck. Don't blow a penalty. Don't blow a 6 again. But see how New South Wales respond to the next one if they are not lying in the ruck. Or, so let's say New South Wales are not lying in the ruck and they're getting up quickly. Then as a ref, I go, okay, New South Wales, they aren't agreeing to this tempo. So I've got to try and get this kind of an even understanding of what the tempo of the game is. However, if New South Wales respond by also lying in the ruck, I go, okay, there is a feel of this game that they are both kind of agreeing that this is the tempo.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of Origin in that I don't think anyone actually wants consistency as per the NRL. You just want consistency in that game, and it is dictated by the feel of the evening.
Yeah, and that's why, like I talk about it all the time. I go back to that grand final. I'll never forget Penrith Broncos. First half, I'm sitting there going, Penrith are taking the piss. This is bullshit. Everyone in our bay that was watching couldn't believe how terribly we got done as Broncos fans. But the second half, Broncos go, oh, hang on a sec, he's letting us lie in the ruck. They started lying in the ruck, and then and G let it happen because he was like, I'm allowing you guys to set this tempo. And it created one of the greatest grand finals we've ever seen.
Yeah. Whereas, same thing, you go back to, and Matty, jump in whenever, you go to that South Penrith grand final, Ivan addressed very quickly what was happening. South and Wayne Bennett didn't respond to it.
Yeah.
They didn't adjust.
So we'll see. Now, in regards to, what are you feeling at the moment? New South Wales, Queensland, we're getting closer to the match. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I am inclined to agree with Roo. I reckon the whistle will get put away. I really hope. I know last year there was some early penalties and whatever, but there's been a lot of chat about the game and how it's kind of going at the moment. And I feel like, you want to showcase it as good as it can be. I think you want some room for some big hits, all that sort of stuff. Like this is the arena where that's going to come to the fore. So I really hope that we just do see a little bit less of the rampant six agains, the over refereeing of the game. We'll see. I know Klein's got a bit of a rep, but I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yep.
In terms of the game itself, look, the benches are kind of both very different, aren't they? Like Queensland have kind of prepared probably for a slightly different type of game. They've got some big boppers on the bench. I do wonder whether there might be a little bit of a change there and if there is room for a bit of a late switch and maybe Fini Fuiaki comes onto that bench in some role. I think, we spoke about it on Friday, Kempy, but he gives you a bit of cover, not only on the edge, but can give you a bit of chaos through the middle as well. You've got Collins, Carrigan, Liero there. They're all kind of, make a lot of tackles, all that sort of stuff, but probably don't bust it open as much as someone like Fini Fuiaki could, and that's something that I think might be missing a little bit from the Maroons bench. I'm a little bit surprised with the prices. I'm a little bit surprised that the Blues are $1.55 and how they firmed up so much, and the Maroons are at around the $2.45 mark. I really do think it's a little bit more evenly matched than that. But looking forward to it on Wednesday for sure. But I reckon it should be a little bit closer. I reckon Queensland have got the team there to get a winning game one.
Yeah, so in regards to how I'm feeling about the game, I feel weird. I know that technically we are underdogs betting-wise, but it's been one of the weird lead-ups where I look at these two teams and it really is essentially an even match, and I'm not used to that as a Queenslander, and it makes me scared as shit. Like, it's usually we go in as like, you're looking at that roster going, mate, this Blues roster is fucking, it is better. I don't think many, even as I said, even though they're favourites to win, I don't think there's many Blues fans sitting there going, we are better. Like, we got so many weapons. So that makes me feel weird and scared I'm so not used to that as a Queenslander. I don't like that feeling. I want to be the underdog. I want to be discounted. I want to be counted out. In regards to the Queensland bench, I personally will be surprised if we at the very least don't see Shibasaki shift to 20 and Fini Fuiaki move to 18, because I think if the game is super, super fast and no wrestler is allowed, I don't see a space for Trent Lioro to come on and do a job. However, I do see a space for Fini Fuiaki if the game is super quick to come on and explode through the middle and get quick play the balls.
Sure, but what you're saying that you think Shibasaki's a chance to drop out of the side?
Yes.
So then what's your coverage for like an outside back injury?
It would be like, I guess Kate will go to centre and then you could put the boys, either Ezra or Shibasaki, but you got to keep Ezra in there to cover the halves though.
Yeah, agreed. I kind of think I'd just be taking Fini Fuiaki out for Trent Lioro, flat stick.
The only thing is, like, if the game is slower, Trent's the perfect person to come on because he's great at the wrestle, can he's his strongest asset. But that's where I go. I want to keep Paddy and Lindsay have to be there. I just think with Shibasaki, like, at the moment I'd be trusting Kurt Catewell in the centers more than Shibasaki with Shibasaki's form. I know he's an out and out center. I know he was selected for that job, but I'm just saying that's my opinion.
That's fair. Yeah, that's why I do think it is bizarre that Shibasaki's sitting on that bench there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, granted, like Trent Lioro, great in the wrestle, hasn't been that great this year, to be fair, but I'm like, you got Carrigan, you got Plath, do you need him there? I think I'd rather, for me anyway, like the idea of Fini Fuiaki being there worries me a lot more as a New South Walesman.
Yeah. I just feel like if you're really worried about how the game is going to be reffed, I just don't understand why Fini Fuiaki would be 20 then, because you've got three bigger, slower boys there,
Yes.
just doesn't make sense. Whereas
Yep.
that's why I go bring him into the side to give me, as in the 19, to give me an ability to react to the pace.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep.
You know, but I understand what you're saying is like, why the fuck is Shibasaki in the side if he's not going to be the coverage for outside backs? You shouldn't have selected him there.
You shouldn't have selected
Yeah.
it. Yes. Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. Just more looking at it from what I would kind of do in that situation. And I do think if you pull Trent Leora out and you put Shibasaki in there, you put Finifuaki in there, although I agree Trent Leora hasn't been great this year, I thought he was really good last year in Origin. Like he didn't set the world alight, but if you watch the amount of contact he won, the wrestle he won, the ability to slow the ball down, play the ball down, he was great. And I want to have that in the back. Like if those forwards, if it's a bit of a slower game and their size is bending us too much, I need Leora out there to stop that. Him and Paddy are great at, you see it, him and Paddy, their ability to get tangled up accidentally is fucking, go and watch it on Wednesday night. You'll see that it's unbelievable. Their ability to get tangled up. Like Cam Smith used to be the king at it. His hands are always just stuck in the ball somehow. Or Harry Grant is also great at it.
Yeah.
And so I want a response to those big boppers in the middle, like Adam Fanor-Blake and Saifidi on at some point. Like let's say that they're on at some point together. I don't think they will be, but let's assume that the game is a little bit slower and they do get on together. They're big boppers to try and stop.
How do you see Britt Nakura being used in your side? Like, does he come on and Cotter goes to the middle, or?
I think that's coverage for pace of the game again. If it's a very quick game, you can put him on an edge. You can get Cotter in at 13 and say, mate, or even at 10, and just go, mate, go hard.
Do you think he definitely gets used?
No, I don't think he definitely, because Cotter and Kate Will are such weapons that can go 80. Doesn't mean I don't think he's not gonna get used. But I do think he will be very much. I believe Billy Slater's going into this game a kind of plan with Britain, but like it'll be more of a reactive. I'm going to put Britain on now.
Okay. Who do you think's more likely to get used, Ezra or Britt?
Probably Britain. Probably Nicola, I reckon. Just with Ezra, like I don't want to see him in the middle, so you'd have to bring him on at 6 or 7. I don't want to take off fucking Sammy Walker or Munster. Probably Britain. Probably Britain Nicola, I reckon.
So you think there's a genuine chance, though, that your bench of Collins, Carrigan, Trent Leary, they're the only ones that get on the field? Like you only use, what's that, 16?
Maybe. Again, it's hard to say because you don't know how it's going to get reffed. You don't, like, if it's a slower game, you would have to say, the big boppers are going to spend much more time on the field. If it's fucking super quick.
Yeah. Let's say hypothetically you're correct. Finifuaki comes onto the bench for Shibasaki. Do you think it's who's more likely to get on, Finifuaki or Britt Nakura then?
Okay, yeah, interesting. Maybe Finifuaki, because we've got to remember he was an impact player for the Cowboys through the middle initially.
Yeah.
And he was unbelievable coming off the bench for the Cowboys. So at the very least, my personal opinion, I'd be bringing him on through the middle before I'm probably pulling off a Kurt Capewell or a Cotter, because there's no point in taking them off in the first half, Cotter and Capewell, unless they're gassed. So
I don't see any point.
Yeah, like you'd have to assume that they're at the very least, unless he goes.
Well,
Cotter
the only
into
reason
middle.
why you would is if you're trying to get one of Britt Nakura or Finifuaki onto the edge for, I would assume, Ruben Cotter to get him back in the middle.
Him back in the middle. Yeah, maybe, but I think it's like if you had said 10 years ago, I think they have very clear game plans of like, this is what minute you're coming over. I think the game has become so quick and reactive that I think that it's a very open plan for Billy.
Yep.
What would you be doing?
Yeah, I think it is. Once again, as I said at the start, I think it's a play by ear to see how the game's going to flow, how it's going to work. Once again, I think it will be tight through the middle early, so that's where I wouldn't be shocked at all to see Harry Grant come off the bench, Platt start at 9, and maybe that's your opportunity. Maybe Cotter starts at 13, and you do start with a Finifuaki on the edge or Britt Nakura out there.
Okay. Yep.
I probably lean towards he will keep those edges as they are. I think he's picked them for an evident reason defensively. But Slater always seems to have one or two things up his sleeve.
Yeah, like a unique substitution where you're like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
But it seems to work. No, I'm feeling it. Outside of that, in regards to the Blues, how would you be using the bench, mate? Like I'm still super confused as to how, like, not how it would be. I can give you a plan of how it's going to happen. I just don't know if I agree with that plan.
Yeah, I tend to be similar. From what I've gathered, I think, Cam Murray's going to come on in that 13 role, as he should probably start. But anyway, sounds like Victor Radley could spell Olakuatu on the edge there, apparently. Saifidi will just be used as a middle. And then from what I've gathered, mate, it sounds like Blake Brayley's going to be the one. Isaac Izza, young journalist, spoke to the other day, reckons he had a conversation with Blake Brayley where Blake just said, yeah, no, I'll be used as a two-prong hooker attack, and Ethan Strange isn't expecting to be part of the attack as it stands right now. So
I will say in Brayley's defense of him being used, his running game has come on leaps and bounds in the last 10 to 12 months.
Yep.
So I think, and I'm probably guilty of this too, We've spent a whole career of watching Brayley be a conservative 9 that gets through a bunch of minutes and makes his tackles and gives good service to his halves.
Yep.
Maybe he's just been doing that because that's his role at the Sharks. But we've seen the last 10 months or so that when he wants to turn it on in impact games, he actually can do it. And so maybe Laurie Daly's going to say to him, mate, you're not on there to obviously make your tackles on that, but it's not about good service. You're on there to change the pace of the game. That's your only role coming on the field.
Which I think that's what he's thinking. I think that's the avenue Laurie Daly's going. What would be your plan going into this game of when you would bring Blake Brayley on?
Oh man, that's tough. That's tough because Reece Robson and Teddy have such a good combination. It really, to be honest, if I'm Laurie, it all depends on Reece Robson's fatigue, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Now, let's say his fatigue is good, but we need momentum. Maybe that's when I'd consider it. But that's what's I'm surprised at is I feel like Strange is that guy. If I need a momentum swing, mate, just get him in the middle. Just go, mate, I need 20 minutes of you just going absolutely crazy through the middle there.
Yeah, I do think there's a world where we get to this game and it's fast-paced and all of a sudden we've got two fresh hookers. We've got a fresh hooker in Blake Brayley that comes on. All of a sudden you got, a smaller body in Victor Radley who can come on and have impact. Similar to how you're looking at Fine Fuiaki, I would love to see Dylan Lucas into the side somewhere. Do you reckon there's any chance he does come onto that bench?
I can live with the Brayley, the two hooker situation because that's basically saying it's going to be such a fast-paced game. I need a number 9 that's ready to go at all times.
Yes.
What I can't get is you've got Dylan Lucas sitting there that can cover centre and also obviously gun back rower, is a better back rower than Victor Radley.
Yeah.
I just don't get that. I get why Radley has been picked. He's an origin-type player, super tough, great defence. But when you've already got Cam Murray and I'm just I just don't know how it all kind of pieces together. If I've got Dylan Lucas there, let's say most coaches in the comp, you've got Dylan Lucas and Victor Radley, and you've got Olakuatu gassing. Lucas is a better option, isn't he, for an edge back row position right now?
I think almost definitely. I think the other thing is too, mate, and I don't know whether you want to read into this or not. I think Victor Radley's one of those guys that, he's only available now. It's his debut. Surely you're not going to pick him in this side, then not play him, right?
No.
I don't think there's a chance they're not going to play him, unfortunately.
Because I feel like he's been partly picked for specifically what he could bring to the Origin arena.
Yes. And sorry, I shouldn't say unfortunately. I think he'll be fine in the Origin arena. I don't know if it's the right time in his career to do it. It's not Victor Radley I don't like. It's the role that I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm the same. If let's say Cam Murray was injured or whatever, and you put Radley there, I'll go, mate. Yeah, sweet. Yeah. I see what he's going to do. It's all good. I'm with you. I've got no issue with Radley as a player. Yes, is he at peak form right now? Maybe not. But if you actually watch the Roosters, he's so vital. He's like a locker room guy like Jake Trbojevic for the Roosters. Now, and so I can get it. I just don't know where you use him because even if you go, we want smaller bodies in the middle, defensively he's quite good, but attacking wise he doesn't. In the middle, it's not like he's absolutely. He's good. So I'm with you. I don't mind the selection. I just don't know what the role is.
And I think, there'll be people at home that'll call me a hater or whatever, but there is just an element for me as well, mate. If Victor Radley was picked for Queensland, I would sort of had a bit of faith in what Slater's going to do with him. I got to call it as I say it. I don't have that faith in Daly right now. I don't. He hasn't given me anything to have that faith in him that when he does go for these curly picks, that it's going to make sense and it's going to work out. That's the thing that has me the most nervous going into this Origin series. It's just the difference between even if you go back to last year's Origin series, once again, Queensland managed to win the unwinnable. Somehow we lose the fucking unlosable. And now I look at this side coming into this game and, granted, Queensland's missing, a heap of players as well, but just Payne Haas is such a huge out for us, man.
Oh, I said this actually, I think
It's
last
just not
week.
getting spoken about. Like,
Yeah, I feel like, there's been questions around Payne Haas's impact in Origin. I actually think he has impacted Origin for the last 2 years. At the start of his career, it was probably a little bit too early. I think that, you're really feeling his absence at the moment.
100%.
Him in this side changes a lot for me. I start going, oh, fuck, this is going to be tough to deal with.
yes, you put Payne Haas in this side. All of a sudden, I'm looking at the two-prong hooker attack completely different. Going, okay, at least we know we'll win the middle. And, I assume AFB will come out there and do a great job. But still, in this arena, untested is the reality of it. Not in his best form right now. Mitch Barnett has played X amount of games in the last 8 weeks or whatever, coming back from an injury. And then, the Jacob Saifidi pick, with all due respect to him, I can't really make sense of that when you got other guys in this competition that you could have gone for, especially, as, whether it be the, Terrell Mays of the world who have spent time playing off the bench and had impact. The other one that I think's been, and I understand he's in a team that's not going well at the moment, but I thought Stefano had been all right this year. And I've never been the biggest Stefano fan in the world, but I think in a team that's getting beaten to a pulp week in, week out, he's been okay.
You got Jackson Ford as well.
Jackson Ford's the other. I can understand, but I said last week,
Yeah.
I can understand not going forward, but going Saifidi over Ford blows me away. It does. And to Saifidi's credit, which I said last week, I do think he's been unfairly criticised based on his Origin performances over the years, but it's not the pick I would have gone for still.
I will say, and I would have probably had Jackson Ford on the bench, but I will say this, Saifidi, he's the big dog in that Knights pack now, and they've been going great. And so, I think that maybe Laurie has made a few phone calls into the Knights and said and found out a lot about what he can bring as a senior player now to a pack.
Yes.
And his ability to get this young pack of Trey Mooney, Dylan Lucas, whoever else you want to throw in there at the moment at the Knights, and they're going great. So maybe there's a lot of intangibles that Saifidi's bringing that we don't know about.
Which is very fair because I sort of, with Trey Mooney arriving there, I thought, okay, Trey's going to have to be the main guy. And he's been great, don't get me wrong. But Jacob has been the main guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Newcastle. He's finally, and I feel like we've waited 4 or 5 years for him to step into that role, but he has this year, without a doubt. But once again, to the point, there are a lot of other guys at other clubs who are the dudes at their club doing fantastic things too.
Yeah. Boys, the KO can't miss moment, or moments for me, it's Nathan Cleary. The time has arrived. The time has arrived. He is the KO can't miss moment this week. And don't forget, round 13 starts on Friday night with the Sharks versus the Eagles. Then we got a big Super Saturday triple header. Knights v Eels, Tigers v Dogs, Storms v Roosters. Watch all 3 Super Saturday NRL games exclusively live on Fox League, included with KO. We've got another triple header on Sunday, Sunday Arvo, Broncos v Dragons, live only on Fox League, Raiders v Cowboys, and then we've got Panthers v Warriors, and a massive, massive game, live only on Fox League. And remember that the only place you can watch every game of every round live with no ad breaks during play is Fox League, available on KO. And the cricket, as you know, this is a cricket podcast. Cricket is back as the Aussies head to Pakistan for an ODI series with plenty to prove in the white ball format. Pakistan at home is no easy task, and the Aussies will need to be at their best to get the job done. Watch Pakistan versus Australia live and exclusive on Fox Cricket, available on KO. Series begins May 30th. It's happening, boys. This is it. This is the year. Cleary's going to do it. This is the first year Cleary has come into Origin where he is out and out the best 7 in the game, and no one's even close. Every other year he's come in as the best 7, but Mitch Moses has been hot on his heels. Jerome Hughes has been hot on his heels. I think right now he is the best 7 in the game. He's seen it in slow-mo. You can see by the way he's talking, he's so calm heading into this Origin series. This is the year Cleary has his series. And I know New South Wales fans, you don't want to hear that because of all these years and blah, 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 blah. I just think that it's all set up for Cleary to have his moment.
Yeah, it's all set up. I think apart from, obviously, Payne Haas not being there, such an important cog, I think that makes it a little bit more difficult. I do think there is an element this year, mate. When I look at Cleary, I'm like, fuck. As I said, I don't have all that much faith in Laurie Daly as it stands right now, and I think things are a little bit all over the place. But he's got the weapons in this back line. He's got the pack that can do it. I think their modern game is suited to him as well. I almost feel like watching Nath at the moment. I agree with you. He's the best halfback in the game. I almost feel like he's sort of coasting and experimenting with things at the moment.
Well, that's what excites me. I genuinely feel like Penrith came into this year going, okay, how can we make one of the greatest 7s of all time better? Let's let him throw his arm a bit more. Let's let him take a bit more risk. Let's allow him to make errors. Like I remember there was a game, it was against the Roosters, where he took 2 short side grubbers, one after the other. That's when I look at it and I go, okay, this guy is truly trying to evolve his game to go to that next level. And that's why, obviously I'm happy to come in here. I'll be very happy if it's not his series. I'll be fucking cheering if he plays poorly, to be honest. But I just think this is series. Everything is lined up. Like when he's playing club footy at the moment, it looks easy for him. It genuinely looks easy for him. It looks like he's in second gear. It looks like that when he wants to turn it on, he will. And so I think heading into this year, you got Mitch Moses, who's going to be the perfect partner for him. That's going to take a bit of pressure off the kicking. Is very good at playing second fiddle when he needs to, Mitchell Moses. And also, it may actually, I don't know about help, but because Moses isn't coming in red hot form, you don't have to worry about him clashing with Cleary. I'm assuming Moses is going to come in. I'm not in the greatest form, so I'm just going to take a little bit of a step back and just be the fucking Robin to his Batman. Very similar to what was a game one last year or the year before where they killed it together, where Moses just took a real good backseat. So I think the year is set up. We see him risking stuff. We see him trying new things. I think this is set up for the Cleary moment. And I know I've said that he's going to have his moment, not this strongly, but before. But I just think this year is the unique one. What do you reckon, Hammy? Is it Cleary's time?
Yeah, well, he's probably in as good a form as he's been in, and he's been in some great form over the years. But the Panthers, yes, they lost one game to the Dogs, but apart from that, they've been pretty much untouchable all year, and he's been right at the top of his game. So I think you're right. He's set up for success. What is he, 28, 29 now, coming to the peak of his powers as a number 7. Usually that's kind of when they hit it. He's obviously had a great career, but yeah, this is the one thing that people have kind of waited for him to absolutely nail, absolutely dominate a series. And I think, all the signs, everything we've seen from him so far this year would suggest that this is probably his best chance to do that, to put his stamp on a series. So will be interesting to see. But I think particularly now that Queensland are missing there, Woy Lewis medalist from last year as well. I think he's got probably as good a chance as he'll get to have a good crack at it this year.
As Maroons, both of you, would it have worried you more from like a Cleary? Because I don't think there's any denying, like he's the best player in our side. There's no questioning that, I don't think. Would it have worried you more from what Cleary can achieve if Edwards was there or Teddy was there?
Well, I've tried it a few years in a row with Edwards. Edwards, great player, all that sort of stuff, but you're probably you're gonna get more points out of Teddy. The one thing that we've kind of discussed is, will it be a little bit clunkier? Will Teddy try to overcall him at times? But Teddy's had a bit of time out of the side. He's developed as a player as well. I think he just adds another weapon. That he's got at his disposal. I think it'll probably be a good thing for Nathan Cleary.
I just think Cleary is in such a space right now. He's very aware of what he needs to do to make this all happen. Mm-hmm. And I think that is deep and long conversations with Teddy. Moses and him seem to work so well together. Reece Robson has also been good at. I think it's a third year now where Cleary's got to play with Robson, which is a huge factor as a number 7. So, yeah, I just think Teddy is in a space in his career now, and he said it about 2 or 3 years ago. He's aware that he can't go in there and be dominant. So I think you'll see him really going into this camp going, whatever you need, Nathan, whatever you need. If you want me on the right side all the time, I'll be there for you. Whereas I feel like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, in Teddy's head, still it was like, am I the main guy? Am I not the main guy? And also, I think Nathan Cleary 2 or 3 years ago was asking that same question: Is Teddy the main guy? Or I don't think anyone is surely not. If I'm Laurie Daly, I'm making it extremely clear that Cleary is the main guy. He is the big dog, the top dog. Whatever he needs, he can get. And then obviously, if that doesn't work, then you can Moses or Teddy or whatever you want. But that's where I just think he is primed. He is so primed. You hear him talking about it. He's so mature and comfortable in himself now, Cleary.
Yep.
I think he's primed for it. And like you mentioned, Tammy, I think he's actually 27. I think he's 27.
He's 28.
He's 28 now? Sorry, apologies.
But he's 29 after the season finishes.
Yeah, so he's 28 right now. As you said, he is coming in. This is when halves know their game. They know who they are as people. They know exactly what they needs to happen to get the job done. It's just everything is forming up for him to have a big
My only other concern that I worry about a little bit is, with this 2-prong hooker attack we're talking about, Blake Brayley has never played any football with Nathan Cleary. I agree. It has to be Nathan Cleary's team. There's no question about it whatsoever. I just wonder when you do bring Blake Brayley on to change the momentum of the game, Nathan Cleary plays his club footy with Mitch Kenny, whoever comes in to replace him is simple. Give the ball to Nathan Cleary.
Yep.
Just keep it simple. That's where I do just wonder the impact that Blake's going to have and how that's all going to gel is a concern for me. But as you said, mate, for me, I think Nate's at a point in his career, as you said, Laurie Daly should be making it clear Nathan Cleary is a guy. Respectfully, fuck that. Nathan Cleary should be making it clear, I'm the guy. This is my team.
Well, if you hear him talk about the Australian trip over to England, probably the best thing that could happen to Cleary because he actually spoke about the fact that he was unsure, like, is this Walshy? Should I, like, I'll take a step back and I'll just do my job. I think that made him aware of, like, oh, maybe I need to have a bit more of Munga in me and go, not Munga's the wrong word because he's tough as anything, but, you know, just that kind of spiteful edge to say, I'm the man.
It's that selfishness that, you know, and I know
Joey has it.
You hate saying Joey in the same sentence, all that sort of stuff, but Joey's the guy. Joey had it. And it's not just a Joey thing. Like, you've had it. Like,
Moses has it as well.
Moses had it as well. You know, and you look at all your, you know, Tom Dearden walks in there and knows, this is my team.
Yeah.
I'm the guy here without a doubt, you know, and I just want to see that from Nath throughout this Origin series. I also think the other guy that's going to be important in this side and how it all sort of gels is Huddy Young. I think he's going to play a crucial role this series. He's been under a bit of pressure over the last few years about his performances in Origin. I assume he'll get the matchup against Sammy Walker, right?
Yeah.
So he has been given the mission all week. Make this the worst hour and a half of Sam Walker's life. And I think Huddy is just so primed and ready to go right now that I'm really excited for him this Origin series.
And Hudson Young, I think as well, like, you know, 2 years ago he was in great form, but sometimes when you get in these great form runs, you almost don't believe it. He's had such good form for so long. He knows what he can do now. Like, he knows how he can impact games. He is demanding the ball, saying, I'm one of the guys that can change this whole game. And I think that self-confidence is just going to work wonders for him in this Origin series. So I'm with you, mate. I think Huddy's in for a big one. Same with Olakawatu. But they're two back rowers that are so sure about what they can impact in the game that it's a very scary prospect for defending him. Now, speaking of Sam Walker, just quickly, you know, like, I probably would have lent towards like you're a Clifford or maybe even Fogarty. But I'm okay with the Sam Walker selection. Yes, are there going to be moments where he, just gets the legs tackle and it's quick play the ball? Yeah, that is going to happen. But I wonder whether Billy Slater has said, well, that was going to happen to any half in the competition with how quick the game is. Like, they're going to, you're not allowed to wrestle anyway. So maybe he's just said, well, the game's going to be fast as long as he makes the tackle. Doesn't matter whether he wins the contact or not. I am so excited to see if they can win the ruck and they can get a bit of field position. I'm so excited to see the battle between Tedesco and Sam Walker. Know each other inside out. The short kicking game is going to be almost like a balk for a balk for a balk. You know what I mean? Like, Teddy's going to know this guy, he will grab her on the second. Do I need to be in tight with him? Do I need to be ahead of him in case he kicks longer? Like, there is going to be a chess match going on between him and Teddy because they know each other so well. That excites the hell out of me. Thoughts on that, mate?
Do you think Slater gives him a license to do that sort of stuff?
I think so.
Go be yourself?
I think he has to. He's one of those rare halves where, like, if you're not going to let him be himself, don't pick him. Do you really want Sam Walker going and there being a conservative 7?
But I think there's a difference between being a conservative 7 and being Sam Walker, the fucking cowboy, kicking on second tackle, and that sort of stuff.
I think the context matters, right? Like, this isn't a club game, mate. So
yes,
that error is compounded. So I do 100%. Think, yes, of course. Like, would you do it in a grand final? Probably not. So probably don't do it in Origin either. I do agree with that sense. Like, you don't want him Wild Western, bloody just chipping out of his own end or whatever. But I do think that there will be cues that Slater will be telling Walker. For example, Sammy, if we have a repeat set down there and we get the ball back and it's the second set, we've had him down there for a few sets. The longer we have him down there, the more risk I'll allow you to take down there.
Yeah.
You know, whereas, like, if it's our first fucking set down there, don't grab her on the second. If it's our second or third set down there, the more fatigued they get, the more I'm going to allow you to say, take that risk. If you see something, take it. It's just about timing when it all happens.
Yeah, I think as a New South Welshman, I'm happy to see Sam Walker there because I think there's more risk of this going poorly than there is with like a Jake Clifford or someone. But I'm under no illusions that I could be coming in here and talk to you on Thursday and going, well, Sam Walker's a fucking Origin specialist.
It's Alfie Langer incarnate.
He's not missing anything. He's got all the skill set in the world. He's got the vision. He's got a coach that would be backing him 100%. So, but I do just think there is a little bit more of like there's a lower floor there. That if this doesn't gel or if it doesn't work, as I've said, I've been saying on this show for years, the Roosters have had 5 years with Sam Walker. They're still trying to work it out. Billy and the Maroons have got 10 days. And as much as the players around him, Cameron Munster, Harry Grant, Kalen Ponga are tremendous players, like Sammy Walker is a one of one. You do not experience playing with Sam Walker unless you play with Sam Walker.
Yeah. Man, I'm so excited. I will say, like, let's say he does come out and kills it. Has Wally Lewis medal, everything. I think if you had any doubt in your mind that Origin is not a system-based, like there are obviously systems that you use, but it is very much backyard footy. You need that creativity, that IQ, that ability to react to what's in front of you. If he comes out and kills it, I feel like that argument's almost dead and buried then. It truly will be. You select players that can think on the fly and deviate from what is the system base.
Yeah, which if that happens,
puts
obviously, a fuckload of pressure on us, man.
Yeah.
Like we're still going to pick the same guys, realistically,
because
they've got the
well.
ability to do that.
Yeah.
They've shown on numerous occasions, but they're not able to do it in Origin for whatever reason.
See,
Hopefully, this is the series of flips.
Yeah.
But that is the big risk that Dearden has come in. He's been proven to be an Origin player the moment he put those boots on. Sam Walker comes in and does it as well. Like, if Sam Walker kills it this series, what are they doing next year? You can't leave Tom Dearden. Like, I think that puts Munster in threat all of a sudden.
Well, you put Dearden to 6 and Munster.
I think, yeah.
Says this is my last Origin.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, guys. Now, my biggest concern for Queensland, and this is a massive concern that no one is talking about, but we don't have a long kicking game. We don't have a long kicking game.
Yeah.
Now, Munster can kick the ball long, but he is not known for his long kicking game. Sam Walker, he is not known for his long kicking game. Kalen Ponga has a decent kick, but it's not like he's kicking 700 metres a game. For example, you go look at Clifford's stats. He friggin' broke the club record. He kicked for like 1,000 metres the other week. That's my concern is like if we have this build-up of pressure where they're keeping us locked in our own end and we can't run our way out of trouble, because I think Billy Slater's picked a side that can run their way out of trouble rather than kick their way out of trouble.
Yep.
That's a huge concern. Whereas New South Wales, I know Moses or Cleary can boot the fuck out of trouble. Like if we have them under pump, there will be times where a huge kick from Moses relieves all that pressure. That's a real concern for me. Now, I know Billy Slater has selected a really fit side to be able to run their way out of trouble, but it is a worry for me.
Yeah, and it should be a worry for you. I think it's one of our greatest strengths that we have got the 2 best long kicking games in rugby league right now, realistically. So yeah, that's one spot I do feel really, really confident. If we are able to keep you guys in your own end, there's no, and you mentioned Jake Clifford was a guy, I would have picked him partly for that reason. I know you mentioned Jamal Fogarty during the week, and part of that would have been his long kicking game as well. You just don't have it there at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think it is one spot that we could take huge advantage of for sure.
Yeah. If you can just, if the Blues can just get a decent enough defensive system to cut off that spin that the Queenslanders do out of their own half, it's going to be a nightmare coming out of their own end.
And I think that's the other thing as well. As you said, KP can do it. Like the guy that does have a really good long kicking game is Reece Walsh as well. Still decided not to go with him. Have you had any more thoughts in the last week or so? Is it as simple as he's only just come back from injury?
I think I think that he's been okay this year. Like, been pretty good. I think, he set the bar so high last year, but he's got a face injury. Like, that is going to get targeted immediately. Yeah. And then the confidence goes. You've also got, I know he's come back into Origin and killed it, but like, he does have a history of getting head high the first tackle. Like, there's so many things. There's so many more reasons to not pick Walsh than people are giving credit for.
Yep.
Like, they just keep focusing on this incredible run of form and how good he is. And I'm in that same boat. I still would have picked Walshy. I've just said all week, it's not as much as a surprise to me as it is to a lot of other people. Like, we're talking about a guy in last game literally had to wear a headgear covering a facial fracture. A facial fracture that, what's it, the 3rd time he's had a face fracture? And so, like, he doesn't have the runs on the, like, as in runs on the board, I mean, as in, game after game after game. Now, I know KP spent a little bit of time out, but he's had, 4 games back now and looked fit as a fiddle, no issues, all good to go. So, although I would have picked Walshy, and I think that he can do things that no other fullback can do, and you could argue we've ever seen do, especially in finals footy at the very least. But KP is a gun. He's a gun, and you've got an underdone Walsh with a target on his face. Guys, this is Origin. I know we like to, sugarcoat rugby league. It's a violent game for violent men on the field at the very least, not off the field, but on the field. They'll be targeted. I've spoken about this on Saturday on my show with Chatty Townsend. I'll never forget. So 2010, broke my ribs, 6 ribs, lung collapsed. Like an absolute moron, I came back 3 weeks later after that happened, just because I was desperate to get in the side. Like, when you're young, you're like, I'll play through anything.
Yeah.
So I came back after 3 weeks after broke my lung and everything like that. I broke my ribs and my lung collapse. The whole game, not just like a little bit of the game, the whole game, every tackle, the Knights players were saying, hit him in the ribs. You think that's not going to happen in Origin? You think that there aren't going to be someone that goes, listen, if you get a fucking free shot, as long as you can like mix between not getting 10 in the bin. But even then, like, fuck, sometimes you take it if you get 10 in the bin.
That's what Brisbane did to me at Magic Round, mate. And I was up there playing hurt.
Yeah,
Kept coming for me.
Okay. So you're the Reece Walsh of Magic Round, are you saying?
Something like that.
Year after year.
Year after year. I'll tell you one thing that does worry me, and Munster's in an interesting spot in his career right now. That for years he's been the ultimate big game player. The reality is, over the last 3 or 4 years, we haven't seen that from Munster. You know, Dearden's been the guy when it comes to Origin the last few years, and Dearden's had the hot hand, so Munster's been able to sort of let him do his thing. Obviously, you know, Money's father passed away leading the series last year. There's a lot going on. I wonder if there's part of Munster that looks around and sees Sam Walker coming into this side. He knows that Tom Dearden's in the side.
Ezra at 18 too.
Ezra at 18. He's probably also realistically looking at the Melbourne Storm going, they need me more than ever over the next few years, and right now.
Your last dance, you reckon?
I just wonder if there's a world where maybe Money would, you know, what was he, 32 years old?
And he's already flirted with, he said, you know, during the time where they were struggling form-wise, the Storm, that he flirted with retirement, and maybe I'm past it. So maybe.
I think there is, and, you know, with what's going on with Craig Bellamy down there, I just wonder if he does turn his attention to club footy.
And we're talking about an Origin legend here. I know because he's a current player and he's Munster, he's one of the boys. You don't have that gravitas for him to a degree. Like, I know we all know how great he's in Origin, but he is an Origin legend. Like, you can put him up there with all the other Origin legends, in my opinion.
And I think the number one thing with those Origin legends is that they pick their moment well. Not many of them go too long. And I do just wonder if Munster might be looking at this, and also just looking at the landscape of Queensland right now between Ezra, between Dearden, Clifford, these sort of guys, and going, okay, there are other guys there now. And it just worries me that Munster, there might be a bit of a last dance mentality here for him.
Oh, yeah. Gives me tingles thinking about it.
Munster, he missed 2024 series. So he hasn't lost Origin since 2021.
Far out. That's crazy.
It hasn't, but like the moments have probably eluded him a little bit.
Yeah, he's been really solid.
He's been solid,
When was the last big? I mean, he had. I think anyway. He had. Yeah, but I know what you're saying. Like, is in regards to like Munster won a Wally Lewis medal kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And when you look at Munster's last few years, like he's lost 2 grand finals. He's, you know, in Origin, he hasn't quite been the guy over the last few years. Which, like, once again, as long as you're winning, you don't have to be the guy. Yes. Yeah. But you know what Munster is like. You know what his mentality is. You know how much Queensland means to him. You know what he's been through the last few years. You know what the Melbourne Storm mean to him as well. And it's a big concern for me that I think no one's talking about, that everyone's, it's all about Walker, KP, Reece Walsh, and then you got fucking sleeping giants sitting there, Munster. And I said the same thing last year, and he didn't, you know, blow the world away. But I do just wonder, as he gets older, he maybe starts to turn his attention in different ways. Yeah. That this could be the year that he just goes bang.
Okay. Alrighty, that segment was brought to you by Aspley Mazda. End of financial year is coming in hot. If you've got an ABN and need a car for the business, don't overpay. Luke the Car Man's hooking up exclusive bloke pricing before June 30. Shoot him a DM and get him sorted. That's LDC_01. And your car man Luke is also a finance man. Jet skis, motorbikes, caravans, you name it. Luke can finance at any deal, any budget, all credit welcome. Australia-wide, DM Lukey and get it done the easy way. And of course, ex-rental, new cars, used cars, whatever you're chasing, it's all at one spot at Aspley Mazda. Also, do not forget, buy any car through Lukey. When you mention Bloke, you not only get the best deal, but you could score a Brisbane Broncos box experience with Jaral Yai, Alex Glenn, and myself. On top of that, Alex Glenn is going to take you and a mate into the changing rooms after the game. That is going to be, the game is going to be on August 1st. I think this ends late July.
July 19.
July 19th, this ends. If you have mentioned Bloke since we've been running this competition, if you've mentioned Bloke and purchased a car, you're already in the draw. So make sure to do that. And as always, a massive thank you to Lukey and Ashley Mazda guys. These partners are why we can do what we can do. Without them, we wouldn't be able to put the show on that we do for you. So massive thank you. Alrighty, it's time now for the round 12 review. Dolphins defeat the Raiders 30-22. Now, yes, Dolphins were missing some players, but I just want to say Raiders also missing some players as well. So it's not just like there was one or the other. For me personally, though, brilliant win from the Dolphins. Away from home, they'd already been on a 3-game winning streak. Very easy for them to look towards the fact that they're missing some key players and go, you know what? This is the week where we just kind of phone it in a little bit. Goes down to the nation's capital where it's cold as shit. You could see them running out going, this sucks. And getting a job done against the Raiders 30-22. Really, really good win. For me personally, the Dolphins are becoming red hot. Raiders, on the other hand, although they were missing some players, I'm caught between two worlds here. if I'm looking at it in relation to last year, they're allowing their season to slip away. Very disappointing. If I take myself back to the start of last year, though, and look at where the club was at in the start of a rebuild, I go, I'm not as disappointed with where the Raiders are at, because you look at that spine that is essentially all teenagers, or at the very least, you got KOX 23, Strange 20, Sanders 20, Paddy 21 or whatever. When I look at it in that context, I go, they're still red hot for me in the next 4 or 5 years. Like, they are going to be building nicely. This is the youngest spine in the competition. Got a good young forward pack coming through as well. So it just depends what lens you want to look at it. Compared to the minor premiership last year, I just think that some people are allowing the minor premiership to think like they're holding that against them as if they were further along than they really were, when in reality, we're talking about a young as shit spine thought through.
Before I get to this, does it intimidate both of you that I'm having my Pepsi Max out of my Joey 05 Sky Blue Sippy Cup? Because it should.
Clearly not.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
I'd be rattled if I was you.
It just looks like a vintage cup, something that when New South Wales used to be good at footy.
Dolphins. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the Dolphins at the moment, mate. They are not playing their best and winning games of football.
Yep.
A sign of a good side. I always kills me to say this once again, but I do respect the opinion of Billy Slater quite highly. What he said the other day, he had them as these premiership favourites as it stands right now. I look at this side. I think that Max Plath is going to come back from Origin, 10 foot tall. I think he's going to go to another level. Jeremy Marshall-King just starting to get back and playing footy. A little warning shot there. I thought Isaiah Cartel, this is probably his best game he's played this season.
Getting better each week.
This was without Herbie Farmworth. Jack Bostock has come back and killed it. I would also argue in this game, it's probably the worst NRL game I've seen Trey Fuller play. They still won 30-22.
Yep.
I love what the Dolphins are doing at the moment, and I think they are going to be a team come September. You're not going to want anything to do with it.
No way. Especially in this new game where you need to be able to attack and attack well.
Yep.
To put points on. When you get that momentum swing, you need to be able to score quickly so that you actually take advantage of that momentum swing. The Dolphins are almost the best at that.
Yes.
Mate, I love what I'm seeing with the Dolphins, and I think when you actually sit down and go, okay, because they're the Dolphins and new in the competition, I don't think people are there. Obviously, there are the core audience of rugby league that get it, but I think there's a more casual audience of rugby league that when you actually look at their team, okay, so JMK at 9, that's the New Zealand number 9, or at the very least has played New Zealand. You've got Max Plath, Flegler, and Gilbert as your 13, 8, and 10. Then you've got Fini Fuaki, who's now an Origin player essentially, and then you've also got Lemuelu, who, he's playing outstanding. He's the only player where you could question as to whether their Origin level is probably Lemuelu, and he's outstanding. Then you go to their back line, and you've got Selwyn Copper, Origin player, Asako, New Zealand player. Then you've got Herbie Farmworth, the best centre in the game, and Jack Bostock, who, if he played 4 weeks earlier, would probably be playing Origin right now, or at the very least, be in the conversation for it. You're looking at essentially a 1 to 13 Origin all rep side.
Yep, 100%. And if you look back over the last 7 weeks or so with context now, round 5, they get beat 52-18 by the Manly Seagulls, their first game under Kieran Foran, which at the time was like, oh my God, the Dolphins, what the fuck's going on? In hindsight, Manly, that was their first game when they had all this change, all this sort of stuff. Since then, they've lost to Penrith by 1 point in Darwin. They then had to fly to New Zealand, that they lost by 2 points over there. I would argue Penrith and New Zealand are two of the probably 5 sides I genuinely think can win a competition this year. Gone toe-to-toe with them.
Tanner Boyd anymore, which I know Tamati Martin killed it, but it's still a loss.
Yep, 100%. And you have a look since that game, Penrith's lost Mitch Kenny. You could argue they've got weaker. The Dolphins are getting stronger every week. New guys are coming back every week. New guys are getting more experience under their belt. They beat Melbourne. They've smashed Canterbury. They've beat South Sydney. They just beat the Raiders down there. Going into a bye this week. They play the Cowboys the week after the bye. I think that'll be an absolute fucking cracker game. That'll be really good. But, mate, I think the Dolphins are the real deal this year. I think they're going to give it a real shake. It's been far from the perfect season so far for them. They're in 8th place. They'll get players back from Origin. If Katoa can start to cook, if Cody Nikorima can get back into this side, I'm loving what I'm seeing from them. And all these young guys they keep bringing in, they all just keep stepping up. Like the other guys, well, I'd argue their best player last year, not named Herbie Farmworth, was probably Kurt Donohoe. He's almost been unsighted so far.
He could barely make the side.
Once he's back playing and, Flegler gets better each week, I think they're going to be really hard to handle the back end of the
Yeah, I'm with you. They're one of the few rosters that them at their peak could go toe-to-toe with Panthers at their peak on paper. Now, that's there's two different things. It's actually putting it together, which Panthers have done so well for the last 5 years. But on paper, like I have no fear that forward pack is just going to be physically dominated by the Penrith Panthers.
I think if you have a look at the top 8 teams, so I think at the moment, do we all have sort of Panthers, Warriors as our top 2 sides?
Well, I've got Panthers out and out favourites.
Yep.
I had Warriors. Tanner Boyd injury has made Dolphins go to 2 for me and Warriors go to 3, just because of the Tanner Boyd. With Tanner Boyd back in the side, I put Warriors at 2. And I know Tomato Martin's been great, but when you get into finals footy with that long kicking game Tanner could bring, there's a difference. I still have the Warriors as a premiership threat, but I just think the Dolphins have just pipped them without Tanner.
I think if you get to a September night and you're playing the Penrith Panthers, I think there's only 2 teams that probably aren't scared to go up against them, and I think it's the Warriors and the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm with you, because they're both forward packs can go toe-to-toe.
Yep, and I think they don't have the scars from – like I think the Roosters have scars from final series previously. I think the Seagulls, they might already be starting to get a little bit shaky off the back of the weekend. Newcastle, I think that they do still second-guess themselves a little bit. The Cowboys are the same. South Sydney are the same. And I think the Dolphins, they just look supremely confident in what they do. And if they've tapered properly and they hit their peak at the back end of the season, fuck that.
Yeah, you got Katoa, who's just better and better and better. Like he's only going to get with the age he's at, he's only going to get better.
Yep.
What do you think about this one, mate?
Yeah, well, last few weeks with the Dolphins, I reckon, yes, they started a little bit slow, a little bit clunky this season. They're now sitting inside the 8 for the first time in a little while. I think the re-inclusion of Jeremy Marshall-King has been huge. We've spoken about that the last couple of weeks. And the other one is Jack Bostock. I reckon he's been unreal since he's come back in. Didn't get a try the other night, had a handy game, though, had a hand in a couple of tries. If he had to come back a couple of weeks earlier, I think he would have been right in the frame for Origin as well. But, yes, they're missing guys like Herbie Farnworth, a few guys out for Origin, but these 2 guys coming back into the side have made a big, big difference. And when you bring all those other guys back from Origin, you bring your Herbies back in there as well. I'm with you. I think they are primed to be a little bit of a threat at the point end of the year. But building nicely, got a win, bit of an ugly win, but a win nonetheless. And yeah, I think they're tracking nicely to be there at the point end of the year.
Man, it's good to look. Penrith are still out and out favourites, but it's good to see other sides that aren't Broncos, Storm, that are like potential. Because I think I looked at this Warriors side and even the Dolphins side the last couple of years and some of these other top tier sides, and I just I don't know if they can go to that next level in finals footy. I look at this Warriors side now. I really do think they can go to the next level. I really do think that forward pack is getting so much swagger and so much just. I think the whole team is just a belief that no, we go toe to toe with anyone. We don't fear anyone. And I think I put Dolphins in that same kettle of fish. You got to remember, Katoa's had some of the best games of his career against Nathan Cleary. That's how. Now, granted, Cleary would still go on to win the game, but that's how confident he is against those big dogs. So, mate, I'm so keen for this Dolphins side. It's just about injury free. I think that's the biggest concern if they have a bunch of injuries.
The other thing we're not talking about enough with the Dolphins is that we're talking about them. We're putting them in our top 3, top 4 sides that can win a competition this year. They've had injuries the last few seasons. They got a young halfback coming into their side, all this sort of stuff. Christian Wolf is also the guy taking over this team after Wayne Bennett. Traditionally, we've spoken about it for years. Wayne Bennett leaves, fucking tire fire. Dragons are still trying to recover from Wayne Bennett leaving, realistically. Christian Wolf has taken over this side immediately, and they have got better immediately than they were under Wayne. They look sensational at the moment. They're trending in the right direction.
And you've got individuals playing better as well, which is 100%. Very rare after Wayne leaves.
And, you look at, Wayne's obviously, one of the ultimate man managers of all time, but you look at what Christian Wolf's doing with this side, that the amount of injuries they got, everyone that comes in excels, they go to a new level. You look at his record over the last few years, Tongan Rugby League's had a lot of issues over the years, playing under different names and coaches, all that sort of stuff. But it was only a few years ago that all the Tongan boys went, we're playing for him. Yeah. He's our guy. We need him. He's got buy-in from his players, which just takes you so far. And once again, to do it after Wayne Bennett, it's like singing a song after Elvis. Very, very tough. He has just stepped into that role and put his own brand on it as well. He's not trying to be Wayne Bennett. He's not trying to play like Wayne Bennett. He plays his own brand of footy. He leans into the strengths that he has. It's not many teams in this competition. I'd argue they're probably the only one that their absolute best player is a centre as well, and they just lean into it. Yeah. They all just play their role around that. Picking up Selwyn Cobbo, fantastic sign. They're getting the best out of him. He's playing Origin football all of a sudden. I personally didn't think there was a hope in hell Selwyn Cobbo was going to play Origin football this year.
Yeah.
He's got him back there. Max Plath making his debut. He's just ticking every single box for me, Christian Wolf, and I just don't think he gets enough credit, mate. If you're looking at coach of the year situation right now, I think Christian Wolf's going to be right up there with him.
Mate, if they keep flying like this, absolutely. Absolutely. In regards to performances, I got to say, I think Morgan Knowles is getting better each week.
Yep.
He's getting better each week. I think at the start when he came over, and granted, like when you look at his resume, it makes sense. But for people that don't know, like I think it's 4 premierships over in Super League. Like he's a big dog in the Super League.
Yep.
Initial first few games just took him a while to get used to the pace and the contact and everything of NRL. And I think he's really finding his feet. Now, I do think he's more of a front row style 13 than a 13-13, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Going to be interesting what they do with the Jeremy Marshall King, whether they continue to bring him off the bench. Now, I know this week then they didn't. But if Plath goes, I think Plath is a better 13 than Morgan Knowles. However, I wouldn't mind seeing Morgan Knowles in the front row and being a part of that rotation potentially.
Yeah, I was obviously over there in the Ashes last year and watching him live at Wembley, game 1. I was really impressed. He stood out to me all game, and I think he played more of that sort of role. He was a little bit quieter in the other games, but he's achieved so much over there. And I know the Dolphins, mate, they hold him in very high regard.
Yep.
And I think for us eyeballing it at the start of the season, it took him a while to find his feet, which was fair. But I know up there, he's just blown them away the entire time. So, I mean, you've now, like, if you have a look on the weekend, mate, like, Tom Gilbert only came off the bench for 26 minutes.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, they're going so well that they can afford to have Gilbert playing less minutes. Ray Stone, he played basically the same minutes as Gilbert.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
It's absolutely wild that you've got the luxury to be resting a guy like Gilbert, who actually, and a similar kind of story to Knowles to a degree, where I felt like for the first 5 games that he was back, he just too many penalties and just like little shit things would happen in his game because he's such a hyper-aggressive player. He's almost a representation of the Dolphins as a whole, where they've just fine-tuned that aggression to keep it within the lines and not giving the silly stuff away. And Gilbert's been that. He's been great the last few weeks.
I think when they're at full strength, I think it'll be JMK at 9. I think you'll have Maxi Plath in 13. I think Donohoe will be the 14. I think Knowles just becomes a middle forward. And, there's 2 starting front row forwards on the weekend, Felice Kafusi and Francis Molo, mate. When they're full strength,
one of them won't make the side.
Well, chance neither of them are, honestly. Like with how they get, when you bring Flegler back into that side, if Tom Gilbert's playing his best footy, like you're also going to probably have Ray Stone probably doesn't make that side.
Yep.
He made his debut on the weekend. He played centre. This Brian Poigneux. Just keep an eye on him because I actually don't think centre's his spot. I think they are telling you by their moves that they see him as their future back rower, letting Oren Keeley go down to the Melbourne Storm.
Okay.
I think Lemuelu's only on a 1-year deal at the moment. 18 years old. I think he's the youngest contracted NRL player. Came in and played centre the other day. I think he'll be a long-term back rower for them.
Okay.
I think he's going to be a fucking handful just quietly.
18 and that big already? Jesus.
Yeah.
Far out. In regards to some other good performances, I thought Lemuelu was outstanding. I thought Katoa had one of his better games, as we've mentioned. A guy, he's in a tough spot. Tavita Nafahu. He's in a tough spot because I think he's a gun. I think he's electric. And I think that given more opportunity, he would probably start at other clubs and almost be leading the try scorer. That's how good I think he can be at finishing. I think he's a really good finisher. And every time he's played first grade, he's looked like a first grader. But with Asako, now I know Asako's going to Melbourne next year. So I'd assume that Nafahu is the next guy up.
I'd assume so.
You have to, because if he's not the next guy up, he probably has to go somewhere else because he's too good to be playing reserve grade.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the other spot they find themselves in. You've got, because Jack Bostock's returned at centre, you got to remember as well, 6 weeks ago, Jake Averillo was flying at centre. He was killing it. So once Jake Averillo's fit and available, he's got to fit into this side somewhere.
See, Averillo doesn't make my side at the moment.
But, mate, based on, I agree with you, but based on form this year, he was killing it before.
It was one of his best years.
It was hard to, he was flying. I almost think when they're all fit and available, I do wonder with the footy that Jake Averillo was playing, and I think he'll also be in competition for that 5/8 role with Cody Nicolina as well.
With the injury there. Could he jag the 14 jersey off Donahue?
Oh, I wouldn't be.
But I guess, yeah.
But this is where, once again, they are absolutely stacked. You got a guy like Nafahu. They know how talented he is, trying to fit him into this side, and I think the silver lining is Osako will be gone next year. But even when Osako's gone,
because you could have Averillo there and Bostock on the wing and someone on the other one, and then all of a sudden Nafahu's sitting there going, "What am I doing here?"
Yeah, but this is also, this is
good sides.
Teams that have these problems, they win comps. They compete at the back end. Like even Trey Phillip wasn't his best performance the other day, but It's insane Trey Fuller isn't playing first grade each week.
No,
it's
crazy.
insane that he's sitting on a bench and not being utilised.
Yep, I'm with you.
It's like their depth and the way they've built this squad, and I know we've done it before on the show, but like I can't wait to see at the back end of this season if they're fully fit, they're playing finals footy, the team list compared to the one that started 4 years ago, and it's essentially going to be JMK, Isaiah Katoa, like everyone else. Hamiso, Connolly Lemuelu, but they've also just every purchase they've gone out and got has been golden.
Yeah.
Absolutely golden.
They've nailed it. Like, think
Nailed
about
everything.
how cheaply they got Herbie Farmworth from the Broncos.
Even think about, like, mate, Cody Nicarima was playing fullback for South Sydney. He was in and out of the side. He was maybe hooker, maybe this. He's gone up there. He's played 5'8". He's absolutely killed it. And, Izzy's been great. But you have to give some credit to the experienced guy next to him.
Bro, if you've got the best attack in the competition that they have last year, who's supposed to be the tip of the spear for your side? It's your number 6. So Nicarima has a huge hand to play in that. And also, like, he would be guiding Katoa as well. Like, he would be teaching him about, NRL and all these different things that it is to be a half in the NRL. So I'm with you, mate. He deserves a lot of credit. And they've done really well too, the Dolphins. Katoa it was because he was young. Like, any half is a bit of a spot. Nicarima was also a spot, but they manage it. They manage it, and they've gotten better at their defense, better at their contact. I think that's the one area of Katoa's game that's improved out of sight this year is his contact in defense. Like, he's really going after the contact. I feel like, and look, this is normal. Every young half, like very rarely, I can't remember a young half that came into first grade and defense was like his strongest suit. It's just very rare. And sure, I'm sure you could find me one example, but I'm in general. But yeah, he's really going after it. So his defense, his contact, his reads are getting better. So yeah, I'm with you, mate.
And just going back to my chat before about where the Dolphins are at as well. Like, the other thing as well is that not only Wayne left, but it's as Jesse retired, Kenny retired.
Yeah.
All these experienced guys that were meant to lay the foundation, which they did, they all left as well. Like, Felice Kafusi's only really playing minutes in this side when the guys are off playing Origin or injured or whatever. All these guys that built the foundations, which when you talk about foundations, you think years ago, wasn't that long ago.
It's 4 years ago.
And now you've got, the Fino Fuliakis of the world who are just absolutely killing it there, should be playing rep football this weekend. It's, I just think the way they've built it all has been fantastic, and it sets such a ridiculously unfair benchmark for the other teams coming into this competition.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be comparing new teams to Dolphins. Dolphins are completely different kettle of fish. They're exception. They're not the rule. I am so high on the Dolphins that now no one will do what Penrith did, but they have the opportunity to become a Penrith-like club in Brisbane. You look at their juniors. They have, honestly, decades and decades of experience of developing junior players and putting them into pathways. Now, for a lot of those decades, they would go and play for the Broncos or other NRL clubs. Now, they don't have to go anywhere, and so that's why their depth is insane, is because they've got a club that's been around for 100 years with all the resources, all the knowledge, all the history. Like, there is a world where they become an absolute juggernaut, the Dolphins. Sorry.
Yep, for sure. And, I just said they sort of set an unfair benchmark for new teams coming into the competition. Like, I hate to put the boot in them at the moment, and I hope they're on the way up, but Redcliffe's an hour away from the Gold Coast.
Yeah. I just think that connection to a club that exists already helps so much with the
100%
Dolphins.
it does, yeah.
Whereas the Titans, they weren't connected to a club. They were a new thing formed. Whereas with the Dolphins, it's like we already know everything we need to do. We have won Queensland Cup trophies with non-NRL players. All we need to do is just, instead of being a 9 out of 10 side, be a 10 out of, like, the step from Q Cup to NRL. It's gotten bigger, but for a lot of the time, it wasn't as big as people thought. It was actually quite a lot closer. To be honest, when I was coming through, the real difference was just the speed of the game. It wasn't the contact. Yep. Matter of fact, sometimes in Q Cup, it was harder contact when you're playing because the game was slower. And so the Dolphins go, look, we know all the systems. We just need to turn it up a notch or two to be able to be at the level of NRL. So good stuff. Now, the Raiders. Hammy, thoughts on the Raiders? What's going on there?
Yeah, they were missing a couple of key players through Origin selection. Obviously, Ethan Strange and Hudson Young are big outs for them. They've been a little bit just sort of clunky through this year. Obviously still getting used to new players in key positions. I actually quite like the look of Ethan Sanders' game. It didn't blow, the stat sheet doesn't blow you away there. But just watching him, his kicking game, very, very solid. Got him out of trouble a few times with his boot. But obviously it's a new kind of look and feel to the team. They had Fogarty last year in that number 7 jersey. I think he's kind of developing nicely. Obviously had Dane Laurie alongside him in this game as well. So, kind of a little bit of musical chairs there at the moment with Origin and injury and a few other things. But Look, I think the big thing this year versus last year is their pack just probably hasn't quite been as dominant as it was last year, which gives obviously those guys a little bit more to play off the back of. They weren't too bad the other night. Joe Tarpany, I thought, had a pretty decent game, but
Well, here's a
last
good
year they were
question
just
for you.
bashing teams.
Here's a good question for you. And Tyson the Terminator 69, he had them rated as the 8th best pack in the comp heading into this season.
Yeah.
Where would you have, and when we all laughed at Tyson the Terminator.
time.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
But like right now, they might not even be in my top 4 as a forward pack. Right
No,
now,
I'd agree with that. And last year they were, I think we were unanimous. We said they're probably the best pack in the comp. So obviously missing Papali'i at the moment and whatever. And Tarpany probably the start of the year was a little bit quiet, getting into his work now, but definitely not as just monstering teams across the board as much as they were last year. So that's definitely one big factor for the Raiders at the moment.
Yeah. Now I want to ask you, Roo. Are you like me where you're sitting there going, like, I get caught up in it, fuck, what a disappointing year for the Raiders. Like, I'm watching it, I'm going, geez, that 15 minutes before halftime, error coming out of their own end, poor read on the right edge again, that right edge can't get fixed. And, like, it's like, what a missed opportunity. But then I catch myself and say, hang on a sec, they're in the second year of a full-on rebuild in their spine. So I'm caught between two worlds. Where do you sit right now with the Raiders?
Without Dylan and I was the only one that had them outside my top 8 at the start of the season because, like, you're running with KO Weeks, Ethan Sanders, they're all great players, but they're inexperienced halves. It's an inexperienced spine. They lose their main guy in Jamal Fogarty. I know there's a lot of things in rugby league at the moment that don't make sense because of these 6 agains, the Broncos winning an unbelievable comp, but forever and a day, an inexperienced spine will struggle. That has been the reality of it forever. I think that last year did just set a ridiculous precedent, and not only for people looking at them, sort of going, "Oh my God, look how far they've dropped off," but I think for themselves as well. I mean, they were like, you think about as good as last year was. Don't get me wrong, but think about how many games towards the last 15, 20 minutes they would do something fucking miraculous to win games of football.
Well, they were almost like the Broncos.
Yeah, they were. Like it was. You never knew. Like you go back to that Panthers game, golden point. Field goal hits the post, bounces away. They go the length of the field, crazy. Even you get to that Broncos game. Like, they won that game 3 times and ended their season. It was a ridiculous season that I personally always thought was going to take a toll to some extent. Not to mention, they've made changes. Moving Ethan Strange to the right-hand side, he's starting to sort of find his feet. Obviously didn't feature in this one, but I think Ethan Sanders, he just gets better and better each week. I personally thought Kobe Black would take his spot in the first 7 or 8 weeks. He's been great, Ethan Sanders. I'm really enjoying watching him play his footy, and I think there is a big part of Ricky Stewart that understands the long-term plan here, and I think that's got to do with Owen Paddy, keeping him in reserve grades, just sticking with Ethan Sanders, letting him learn shit each and every week. I think Ricky is looking entirely long-term here.
And I think he's made the tough call. Like, I think that if Ricky was worried about himself and his job, he re-signs Fogarty for another 2 or 3 years. Because he's sitting there going, no, guys, we're this close. If they beat the Broncos, there's a very highly likely, I think personally, that they win the comp. Like, I genuinely think they could have won the comp if they beat the Broncos last year. They'd already beaten Penrith that year. They've got the wood over Melbourne quite a few times. And so Ricky could have selfishly said, no, I'm signing Fogarty again. Sorry, young fella, I know I promised you would start, but I'm here to win comps. He didn't. And I'm here to put myself in a position to potentially win. He didn't. What he did was, he went, you know what? I want to make this tough call now to set ourselves up for top 4 finishes potentially for the next decade, pretty much. And I think that's an unselfish call. I think he's really gone, no, we had a plan. Let's stick to the plan. It's going to work, and it's going to give us more long-term success. Because, like, if Fogarty comes out and gets injured next year, all of a sudden you've got a disgruntled number 7. He's as in Sanders. So Sanders might go, you know what, you promised me that you're going to be here. He leaves. And then you are literally back and at the start again without a Sanders to take over or even a Kobe Black. Maybe Kobe Black doesn't come to the club if Fogarty's still there.
Yep. And I think Ricky finds himself in a very unique spot where he can feel that way because the Raiders are, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way by any means, but they are like a enormous country football club.
Yeah,
They are
which is a good thing. Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's 100% a good thing. And, I don't know if you've have done any content with them or anything. I've done a little bit over the years. And when you're there, it's a different feel to other NRL clubs. It is a completely different feel, the way they do things and all that sort of stuff. And it's why we always say it's so hard for them to get guys down there. But once they're fucking there, they don't leave.
No, they don't.
Because they love it down there. And
Yeah.
I think Ricky has got the confidence that, okay, I could rebuild here for a year or two, and I know Canberra and the people in charge there will back me because go out and find someone else to build what I've built down.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like, They're so close. They just need another 2 or 3 years. Like I'm. The fact that Sanders isn't getting torn to shreds should show you how good his season has been as a youngster, because he is the easiest scapegoat in history for fans to go, you're the reason why we're not going well. Even if he is or he isn't. But I believe, is he setting the world alight? No. But he's playing well enough where even Raiders fans have to go, he's been pretty good for a youngster. and they're losing games as well. So it shows you how good he's been.
Because Raiders fans understand you can't just go out and buy these guys. You have to bring them through. It takes time to get these guys and get them to the right spot. And, mate, even Sanders has stood up and shown them in the first few weeks, I'm worth being patient.
I think he's been really good. Like, let's say I've got an end-of-year review right now for Sanders, it'd be tick, 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 tick. Like, I can't remember a game. I think it was like one game where I was disappointed. Everything else I've been like, he looks like an NRL 7. He looks calm, collected, got a great kicking game. Even when the game was on the line, I go back to that Bulldogs game, Connor Tracy had to pull off an absolute miraculous try saver on Sanders. So I'm pretty happy with it. Quickly, could this be more of a Dane Laurie game ever? Is there ever been more of a Dane Laurie game than on the weekend? Comes out, blitzes it, and you go, bro, this guy, he could win Player of the Year. And then misreads in defence. I love Dane Laurie. I think he adds so much to a team. He's got so much spark. But this is probably what has held him out from like grabbing a spot and keeping it.
Yeah, and I think that's the reality of Dane Laurie. But fuck, mate, if I there's a lot of NRL teams out there that are struggling with guys in their team that I just look at Dane Laurie and I'm sitting there watching him play reserve grade in Canberra, going, fuck, like how on earth he hasn't landed a contract with Perth, or maybe he doesn't want to be over there. I don't know, but like he's too talented to not be playing first grade. And mate, you might find that when he actually gets to play some proper first grade, that's where he does start to sort some of this stuff out.
Yep.
Instead of playing park football every week,
Yeah.
where he can get away with it realistically. Like he shows any New South Wales Cup game, he's the most talented player on the field. Sometimes he shows up to first grade games, he's the most talented player on the field.
Yeah. Those rough edges that just can't.
Just
seem
the rough
to
edges,
smooth out.
yeah. But it probably is time in the saddle that will help with that realistically.
Yep. Big Red, did he get another penalty for dissent?
I think so.
Yes.
Listen, I love Big Red.
But it was a day that ended in Y. So.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Good point.
Look, I love Big Red. I love everything that he brings to rugby. He is rugby league, but sometimes you can get a little bit caught up in a caricature of yourself and you kind of like lean too far into it. For example...
Sorry. It was Timoko, but Big Red got penalised like 2 minutes before that for a shoulder charge.
Okay. All right. Well, apologies about the dissent one, but the shoulder charge. I just think he's walking on that line a little bit, Big Red, and he's just got to find a way to just pull himself a little bit back. It's almost like a winger who's really fast and he can score tries from anywhere. And he thinks that every time he gets his hands on the ball, he needs to chip and chase or he needs to score the try or whatever. I think with Big Red, like, I love the aggression and it's really important for the Raiders Park to have that. He's just got to find a way to, like, not do the shoulder charge, not dissent. That kind of stuff is just going to kill you in the long run. So
yeah, and it's a hard line to find.
Absolutely. So many players struggle with it. Many players struggle with it. And the thing is, you don't want to erase it from him because then what's the point of that? That's what he's purchased for. Just got to find a way to get a bit of that balance. Another little quick before we move on, unless you boys got something else to say, the Raiders have just got to find a way to defend their errors. Like that, I personally believe the back end of the first half is what cost them the game. Tamale coming out of their own end. I know he made up for it, I think, with a try, but just a random drop ball. Savage, I know he's not normally defending at centre, but he needed to jam in there. I think they made 3 or 4 errors and they paid for it nearly every single time. They've just got to find a way. If you're going to make an error, if you're going to be a bit expansive, or if, like, for example, if you're like a Tamale that he breaks a lot of tackles because he's constantly looking to break tackles, you'd be surprised at how many NRL players choose not to play like Tamale because it is a high-risk style of play. Every time you're pushing out like that with the ball in your hand, easy gets stripped out. That's why you think, oh, why doesn't this really big this really big winger or really fast winger, why isn't he like skipping across and fending chest all the time? A lot of the time, it's like, my job is purely hit, get to the ground, and play the ball quickly. Yeah. It's not to break 3 or 4 tackles. However, I will say, because Tamale is so good at it, if you're going to do that, A, try not to make the error, but B, it's almost like the Reece Walsh situation. The team needs to be willing to defend it, and right now the Raiders are struggling with that.
I think the other thing, last thing I'd say on the Raiders is I don't understand, like, you found the formula last year. Start Starling, bring Paddy off the bench. I actually think Jaden Brayley's been really good in that link role.
I like him at 13
better when he's on
game.
the field.
Yeah.
I don't understand why Owen Paddy started the other night. Starling starts, Paddy off the bench, Brayley in this link role. Just keep it simple. I think it works.
Yeah. We've got to name the team of the week, boys. So if there's any changes you'd like to make, please let me know. But I went Drinkwater. Now, I know Clayton Falalau played at fullback, but I put him on the wing because I thought he was outstanding. Sherry, Chester, Nafahu, Burton at 6, Katoa at 7, Underhill at 8, Marnie at 9, Fisher Harris at 10, Lemuelu at 11, it's not Alex Laban. What's his first name?
Jacob Laban.
Jacob Laban at on the edge there. Taumalolo at 13, thought he was outstanding. Tamati Martin 14, Leo Thompson, I thought he was the best game for the Doggies 15. Morgan Knowles 16 and Helam Lukey at 17. Any other people you would have put in there, boys?
I think they're all pretty good.
No notes.
I think you had to have Clayton in there somewhere.
Yes.
We'll get to him, but
So good. Okay, on to the next game. Anything else on the...
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Wait, one thing.
Yep.
How cool was it to see KO Weeks kick a 20-40?
Mate,
It's the best.
he's so good. Bro, he's working his dick off for that side, seriously. Sometimes I feel a little bit sorry for him because he doesn't get rewarded as much as he probably should get rewarded because they're struggling at the moment. But he's playing as good as he was last year.
Yeah, you mentioned you don't see much of the 20-40. I'd love to see the kick off the 20-metre tap again too, Kempy. You just never see it.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't understand there's risk in it and whatnot, but like, mate, with the way that these kicking games are nowadays and how accurate some of these guys are, the way they're hitting 40-20s and 20-40s, like you don't even have to hit it as far. You just have to find touch.
Yeah.
I reckon it's very underutilized.
I reckon half the people listening won't even know what that rule is.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like the optional restart hasn't been anything for ages.
The only thing that I would imagine would go against it is that when you do find touch, it's not a 7-tackle set. Whenever you are having 20-metre, it is a 7-tackle set usually. But yeah, it's just I'd love to see if the rule was that you found touch and then it's a 7-tackle set and you can get it from halfway. I reckon it'd be very interesting.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. Okay, on to the Doggies Storm. Bulldogs defeat the Storm 30-20, and I just want to get straight into it. The Bush Ranger Battler of the Week. The Bush Ranger Battler of the Week is brought to you by Bush Ranger Power Equipment. Tough, reliable, built for hard work. Hard-working Aussies, whether you're on the tools, on the land, or sorting the backyard on the weekend, Bush Ranger is built to get the job done. Now let's get into this week's battler, the player doing the hard yards for their team. For me, it's Jack Underhill, a.k.a. Jack Undies. What a game from him. Now, it's his second game of NRL. Now, I implore all of you, I'm not going to spoil it. Get a chance, go to the Bulldogs Instagram. It's one of the great stories of a young man. Before his debut, he recounts some really tough periods in his life and some really, sentimental, important things. And it's just such a great story about resilience, a young man getting through hardship and achieving a dream. So go to Bulldogs Instagram, check Jack Underhill's story. It's incredible. Bring a tear to the eye. But what I love so much about it is, like, first you got that big hit on Alec McDonald where he just goes, fucking boom, thanks for coming. So that would have been enough just to go, you know what, like this young fella's got a bit about him. Then he makes that error and he says, you know what, I'm erasing that from my mind, charge down, dives on the ball, but to make it even better, he has the guts to challenge it because it gets called a knock-on, wins the challenge, Bulldogs go on to win the game, and I'm pretty sure the game was drawn at that stage. These are huge plays. I love everything about him. I think he averaged about 10 metres per run. He ended up with about 100 metres run. Underhill is our battler of the week. He is a super talent, and I can't wait to see more of him. He's almost like a mixture of like potentially Aiden Tolman / Jimmy Graham.
I was about to say Tolman. Yeah.
Tolman, Jimmy Graham, a mixture of them, which is a compliment. Both absolute battlers. Thoughts on the Bulldogs, but Jack Underhill, mate?
Yeah, it's good to see him come into first grade. He was 2024. I think it was Jersey Flag. He got man of the match in the grand final.
Well, it was a cover tackle on the inside that he forced a half to drop the ball, I think.
Yeah, against the Sharkies.
Yep.
Yeah, yes. He's just always been the hardest worker in the room, essentially. No frills. I remember hearing out of Bulldogs preseason last year that he was the guy that really impressed Seraldo. It's taken an extra year for him to get here, but he's just leaving no stone unturned. So sometimes I worry in our game that the young guys that are just willing to work harder than anyone else are sort of getting left out in the cold a little bit at times. But I think he's a great example of still, if you're willing just to work your dick off, there will be an opportunity there for you. With all the new forwards that are coming to our game and just how explosive they all are. They can all play edge, middle, all this sort of offload. And he's just one of those tough, compromising. Aiden Tolman's the perfect way to put it. Just gets the job done.
Yep.
And good to see him getting into first grader, mate. Unreal to see. I know it's tough for Canterbury fans at the moment, but all their fans getting around him.
100%.
You love it.
Yep. And we always talk about you can't buy experience or you can't put a price on experience. You also can't put a price on youthful energy. And I think that's probably what the Dogs needed right now. They needed a bit of a circuit breaker, someone to just fucking spark them up a little bit. And after that charge down on the captain's challenge to Tilly Tupanel, puts a big hit on Howarth, drags him out. So he just got the boys up and about. So he is our battler, Bushranger battler of the week, guys. Brought to you by Bushranger Power Equipment. Tough, reliable gear built for hard-working Aussies who get stuck in and get the job done. We'll be back next week with another player doing the hard yards for their team. And a massive thank you to the Bushranger range for supporting the platform. You know, without our partners, guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. I'll go to you, mate. Doggies get the win. I know you're a doggies death rider. I get it.
I am.
How do you feel?
Well, look, they scraped over the line against the decimated Storm. No, look, they'd been needing a win for a while. They found a way to get one. They were under the pump a little bit as well. A bit of movement in their back line. Both wingers kind of out, so they had a couple of guys come in from the extended squad. Kiraz had to go to fullback. Kiraz probably had a moment he'd rather forget there, throwing the ball back in, which cost them a try. But outside of that particular brain fade, I thought he had a pretty good game there. You know, it's obvious it was his first game back after a little bit of a layoff.
Yeah, for him to come back from injury and score that try, he's a freak.
And run 29 runs or something like that.
31.
He's tough.
31.
Far out.
I thought he was showed a lot of ticker for the Dogs the other day. So, look, again, still probably not super clinical or anything like that, but they found a way to get a much-needed win. You know, you could see how much it kind of meant to their fans and all that sort of stuff as well. And, yeah, it wasn't all smooth sailing for them. They had to overcome a little bit of adversity and whatever. So, you know, credit where it's due for the Dogs the other night. You know, a much-needed win against the Storm.
You know what I liked about it? And we spoke to Kurt Mann after, and he was told they kept their systems, but they were given a bit more freedom to just, like, do what they needed to do. I just felt they, got early ball to Bronson Xerri. Super simple. Wasn't any crazy plays. But also, I felt like Galvin just took a little bit of a step back and Burton became the point of their attack. And I feel like it looked like, at the very least, Serralo said to Burton, listen, bro, I don't need you to be fucking Joey Johns. I don't need you to be a crazy ball player. When you get the ball, don't think about passing it or setting anything up for anyone else. Look up. If there's an opportunity that you think you can take it. Because I feel like for a while with Burton, he's been caught in this weird world where, like, Galvin isn't necessarily a 7, so it looks like he's trying to pick up the slack a little bit to be a bit more ball play. And I thought on the weekend he did what he's a Dally M Centre of the Year, isn't he? He won Dally M Centre of the Year at Panthers.
Yeah.
Like, you don't win Dally M Centre of the Year without having a gun running game. You know what? It's not even called a running game. It's literally just what centres do. They run the ball really, really well. And that's what I liked about their performance. I felt Burton had the shackles released and he was allowed to back himself in to get the job done. And Bronson Xerri got early ball and kind of reminded us all that this guy at the Sharkies was fast as anything. He was one of the fastest in the competition. Put on a bit of weight and a bit of size, but just reminded us that, you know, a big knock on the Bulldogs outside back has been a lack of speed. And Bronson Xerri said, listen, I've got speed. I just need fucking early ball.
Yeah. I think sometimes they, especially their backline players, they just seem to overcomplicate things, I think. I thought both their centres were really good, mate.
Tuala was outstanding.
Mate, Tuala's so much better in the centres than he is on the wing as well.
Yeah, I like him in the centres.
But I don't know what that means you do with Critter. That's what makes it hard.
Yeah. Look, you're probably going to have to put Tuala on the wing because Marcelo, unfortunately, had like that first miss was tough. He had a few errors or whatever. I mean, he's just struggling a little bit for form. He came good in the back end of the game, Montoya, but started a bit shaky.
But I think this year it is very fair to say that I personally think Tuala's games at centre have been better than Critter's games at centre.
Form-wise, yeah. You take the name away.
Take the name away. He's been really good at centre. Still handy to have on the wing. I also think, boys, it's been a tough 5 or 6 weeks for Connor Tracy and watching him. I don't think Kiraz is a fullback, but I think he's the best fullback for this side right now. I think you just leave him there.
Yeah, you know, I'm with you, mate. And this is why. Because I think you're saying the exact same thing. It's like, okay, Connor Tracy gets through a bunch of work and he started the year really well. Defensively, the last few weeks has been quite poor. And I personally think he's got to have some sort of injury. Like some of the tackles he missed, he wouldn't miss that. Toughness is not an issue for Connor Tracy. He's tough as anything.
Built off toughness and effort, yeah.
And he actually might even be a little bit better of a ball player than Kiraz. But does he have that sharp edge of attack that Kiraz has? And what I mean by that is every time Kiraz runs the ball, I believe defenders are a bit more anxious about what is going to happen.
Yeah.
When Connor Tracy runs the ball, yes, you have to be alert, but I think a lot of defenders go, I just need to get through this tackle, you know, then on to the next one. And I just think that edge that Kiraz has every time he holds the ball, it's only one game, guys, so maybe, you know, he doesn't play as good next week. I just think that adds a bit of a dimension into a spine that probably doesn't have that sharpness that they need.
Yeah, and I have no doubt whatsoever, Kiraz at fullback, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to go up and down, no doubt about it whatsoever. But I just think it gives them more threat. I think that the way that he, you know, gets his arm free and offloads the football. I think, as you said, mate, the Bulldogs, they need to be a little bit more carefree. They need to just – there's fucking good footballers in that team.
Yeah.
Just let them go a little bit. Like, we all gave them shit 2 years ago about, all the utilities and everything they've got. Like, they're the last team that should be as robotic as they are.
Yeah.
If you're running with Lockie Galvin as your halfback, you should not be robotic in any way, shape or form.
No, it should just be all pretty much instinct stuff.
You've got
Quick
Kurt
play
Mann, Jamin Salmon, all these guys on the field. Matt Burton, who's a running 5'8". What are we trying to overstructure for? Just let him go.
And like you look at Burton, like the first few times he had his runs, and he either got a quick play the ball or he even just got a normal play the ball. But it's not about the first and second run; it's about the sixth and the seventh and the eighth run. And by the time he got into the back end of the game, he was making line breaks almost at will with his running game. And so, I think at the moment, and I also like with Kiraz, now, granted, he still had some errors in defence, obviously. His physicality in defence, like I think that because he's a bigger body, he probably will be able to hold guys up a little bit more. Now, we'll wait and see what happens. On top of all that, like Connor Tracy at 14 for me, I don't mind it. I like it. I think he's a good utility. Now, I know you probably have to, make some tough calls there. That may change with Jacob Preston out injured. Maybe Preston. Did Salmon play on the edge? I felt like I saw him on the edge for a period there.
Floated between, yeah.
I wonder whether Salmon goes to that edge while Kikau and Preston are also out. And that would obviously leave a bit of room for Kurt Mann to start 13. No, actually, he started at 9, didn't he? Anyway, we can get into the team makeup. But yeah, mate, I like Kiraz at the back. Look, the thing is like, am I sure that he is going to be better than Connor Tracy long term? No, I'm not. But they just need something different.
Yeah.
Just give me something different because it's not working currently.
And they are not right now in the. Well, I mean, I'll tell you they're in the long term business. They're in the find a fucking pulse, and then let's just get back to playing some Bulldogs footy.
Yeah. Quickly, Preston injured, huge loss, like so big. Yeah. Probably their best. Him and Galvin like been the best player all year.
Yes, enormous loss. I think Satili's been really good since playing the back row. I'm not sure what they'll do now. You just mentioned Jamin Salmon. I wonder if it's sort of Harry Hayes that gets an opportunity there. I'm not sure who else is in their squad. But yeah, a huge loss, especially when Kikau is out as well. But I think Jacob Preston's more important to this side nowadays than Kikau, realistically. So
yeah, with the consistency.
It's a huge loss. Huge loss for them. Did Leo Thompson get a bait in your team of the week?
Yeah, on the bench.
Yeah, he was unreal. He looked
best game for the club.
Yep.
So he's slowly building into it. And granted, like when you go back and look at his stats, they haven't been bad. They actually haven't been bad.
Stats have been good.
Yeah. It's
Stats
just
have been
like
good.
it's just that extra bit of the focal point of a pack that you expected him to kind of slot into.
Yep.
Probably hasn't been there, but I felt on the weekend, I'm with you, mate. I thought he was great.
Yeah.
Bronson Sherry, bro. Wow. What a game.
Mate, how long ago does it feel like since he wasn't up to being in this side, apparently? He has been amazing since his return. I mentioned, Tuala, I think his performances have been better than Stephen Crichton, mate. Bronson Cherry, since he's returned, he's been unreal.
He's been their best centre at the club.
Yep.
Form-wise, obviously. Like, Critter obviously is the best centre, best outside back. But form-wise, like this at the moment, 20 runs, a try assist, 239 metres, 80 post contact, 10 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, 6 tackles, 0 misses, 0 errors. So, look, really good win for the Doggies. Oh, quickly, sorry, before we move on. Oh, the thorn in my side that will never go away. So, Bailey Hayward come off the bench. Kurt Mann started at 9. Now, Gus Gould has said they're not looking for a starting 9, they're looking for a backup one. I think that the Bulldogs have played, I think they've showed their hand with Bailey Hayward multiple times this year, and I think they are, I think internally, if they were fully fit, he wouldn't be playing much 9. He'd be playing a utility role. Thoughts?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think they've realised they need to walk this back a little bit.
Yeah.
What it looks like, I don't know. If I'm completely honest, I don't think Sam Verrills is the answer. I think they need to go for someone there. Yeah.
And I want to see Bailey Hayward playing 60 minutes a game at 13. Give me that.
Yep.
They look so good when he's playing 13. The connection between both halves is great. He's almost like a Plath type player. Plath's probably a little bit bigger than him, but he's a Plath type player. So I know they've tried to deny it, and I get that. And look, they're trying to run a club, so of course they're going to. But I think the writing's on the wall at the moment.
I agree. Can you believe, like, if you would have said at the start of the season that Canterbury have beaten the Raiders, the Storm, and the Panthers, that they're in 13th?
Mental.
Crazy.
Mental. Absolutely mental. Onto the Storm. Great first half. I don't want to be too harsh on these boys because I know they're going through a tough period and they've had some losses. Got a lot going on at the club. But that second half, like I've obviously never played for the Melbourne Storm, and most of these players are much better players than I'll ever be. But the Storm jersey deserved better than that second half. That jersey is known for excellence in Australian sport. To come out with everything going on at the club while your Origin players are away and complete at 50% in the second half. Like, I know you don't want to hear things like this is very unstorm-like, but unfortunately, this is the case. Like, this jersey, in my opinion, deserves better than that. I think they should be really disappointed with that. Look, if they came out in the second half and controlled the controllables and just got beaten by a better side, every club goes through this. They've got a bunch of injuries and, every club goes through it. No issue. But to go out and complete at 50% in a season-defining game while your Origin stars are away, and when I used to play, whenever the Origin players went away, we always talked about owing them. We owed it to them to play our absolute hearts out whilst they're in Origin, because when they came back, guess who's going to fucking save our asses? It's your Origin players.
Yep.
And so I feel like they've really that second half specifically. I thought they were great in the first half, but with everything going on at the club, I know it sounds really harsh, and I'm saying it because I want this young group of men to be what they can be. It deserved better than that. That just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I think, mate, they're just a club that's sounds crazy with Melbourne. I think they're lacking identity at the moment. They really are. And that's the other thing as well. Like you say, for them to be disappointing in the second half. Like, unfortunately, poor second halves have become a hallmark for the Melbourne Storm in the last 8 months or so.
That was some of the worst I've seen from them though. Like 50% completion rate.
For sure, but it's not the first time it's happened.
Yeah,
as well.
I know.
And you just, previously in the last 25 years, whenever they've, there's been a weakness you're able to identify, they turn it around. It becomes their number one focus to sort that. But they're just, listening to Cooper Cronk the other day on Mark Boris' podcast, just talking about doing the fundamentals. And there's no doubt whatsoever where that attitude comes from with Cooper Cronk. Melbourne are just in the ballpark of it, mate. And unfortunately, none of their grades are. Like I said to you before the show, Cup got beaten, I think, 38-20 over the weekend against Canterbury. Jersey Flegg are the defending premiers. They got beat 58-0 on the weekend. The whole, and you've got these guys who are coming up from reserve grade to first grade who, as you said, it's, we owe first grade. These blokes coming up, their confidence is fucking shattered at the moment. The whole place is just, it's in such a weird spot right now that, and I think there's every chance they turn it around next season or whatever. But I feel like they're just stuck in a rut at the moment. Like what I don't know if they sort of know how to get themselves out of it at the moment.
Well, they turned the corner, but they are missing their 3 or 4 best players, for this game in particular. They they had that stinker of 7 games in a row, but I feel like they got their mojo working again. Tigers game, Magic round, they kind of got going. But you take Grant, Munster, Liero, a couple of others out of the team for it was always going to be pretty tough this week, considering they'd already been going so poorly prior to that.
But see, I'd be with you if they didn't play as well as they did in the first half. That's where I go, listen, this is how good you can play, boys. It doesn't matter that you're missing these players. You just dominated the Bulldogs. You look like you're going to run away with this one. And then you come out in the second half. And so it's like, I am harsh on them because they are the ones that set the stand in the first half. If they had to just come out and, don't get me wrong, 50% completion rate over a whole game is not great. But if they had come out and struggled from the start, I would be totally on board with that and go, you know what, missing some key players, all that stuff. But they came out and killed it in the first half and showed they know what to do.
Yeah, I'd also make an argument, as far as them turning the corner, they took on you guys who are missing pretty much your entire side, right? Even Parramatta, they've got a lot of injuries. They're not going well. So, I don't know. I went into this game, I couldn't believe the Bulldogs were outsiders, to be honest. That really surprised me, considering...
See, I had them as favourites.
So did I. I couldn't believe they were outsiders. I thought that was bizarre when you take Munster, Harry Grant out, these guys. Yeah, I'm just...
No, so I had Storm. I picked Storm head-to-head.
Oh, yeah, no, I thought it was bizarre Canterbury were outsiders going into this one.
Well, I was looking at it like this, like Stefano, Origin player, fucking Jerome Hughes, gun, Far Longo, gun, Warbrick, gun, Howarth, gun, Meany, gun, Moses Leo was one of the best players last week, Josh King, their normal, like their front row is their normal front row. Obviously, number 9 is a little bit different. Sean Bloor was in the grand final, 2 years ago. Lasardi, he's been literally one of the, you know what I mean? Cooper Clark, Gunn, Young, like that starting 13 for me is still a good starting 13.
100%. And all the stuff you just said is accurate. But the last 8 weeks, haven't been firing a shot. None of those guys, I would say, outside of probably Stefano, who I think's been all right. Like all those other guys, they're nowhere near where you expect them to be.
Yeah, as I said, that second half, I could, if you could cop like them coming out, completing relatively high and doing all the fundamentals, but to watch a Storm side not do the fundamentals well, it's surprising. I think they'll be super disappointed with that.
Like you look at their game coming this week. I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy, but taking on the Roosters, mate. The Roosters are at $1.80. Melbourne's at $2. I think Melbourne should be much further out than that.
After this weekend, yeah.
They're a team that is not playing good football. They might have won 2 games in a row, but there's a lot of context around those 2 wins, in my opinion, that makes a lot of sense. They're just in a rut that I just don't know how they're going to get themselves out. I don't think they do get themselves out of it this season.
Yeah. I hope they do. There's some bloody good players here, and it's just disappointing because they showed in the first half how good they could play. They were great in the first half. I thought they were really good, really, really good. A lot of aggression, line speed, won the battle. I thought Leo started the game like that bump on Marcelo, and then whoever with the cover tackle was to score that try. That was outstanding. But they just basically the Storm were just rolling down the field in the first half. Just the Dogs could not stop them. Like could not stop them. And then the second half was just completely different. They were camped down their own end the whole time.
Are we all like they need 9 wins to be in a position to be in 8th spot? Are we all sort of putting the red sharp?
I think whoever lost that game, that was probably it.
Season. Yeah, I don't see the Storm because although they are the last 2 games they've been better, they haven't been like the Storm are back kind of thing.
No. Okay, who do you think's more likely to make the 8 out of Canterbury and Melbourne?
Probably Melbourne.
I just don't think either of them are going to get near it.
Probably Melbourne just because they've got Harry Grant, Munster.
Yeah, if I had to back one to go on a run and do it, given the quality at full strength, probably the Storm.
Melbourne,
yeah.
Fair.
Hopefully the boys can turn it around. Sorry to be too harsh, but I just hold the Melbourne Storm jersey in such high regard, and maybe that's my own bias because I came through an era where they were the other, is obviously Broncos and Melbourne Storm were the big dogs, but
I think we all hold it in that high regard, and I don't think it's a case of neither do they. I just think they're in a rut at the moment.
Yeah.
They're just struggling to find a way out.
We'll see, but hopefully they do. Because I want to see the Storm playing some good footy. When they're flowing, they are one of the best teams in the competition to watch. Okay, the Warriors defeat the Dragons 30-12. Dragons v Warriors. We'll speak about Dragons first because, in regards to the Warriors, is there that much to talk about? They're going as well as we know they're going to be going. They're going outstanding. Tamate Martin was phenomenal. Their forwards just ground the Dragons out of it. So I'll speak about the Dragons first. And the biggest disappointing part for me for the Dragons was you had this young forward pack that literally won the battle in the first half. And then you had senior players making multiple errors. And it's just like, if you are struggling in the NRL and it's because your young players just aren't up to it, you go, that's the normal cycle of rugby league in the NRL and the salary cap. That's how it all works. But when your younger players come on and start and are winning a battle against the best forward pack in the competition, in the Couchman brothers, Egan, all that stuff, Stewart, but then, you have these senior players missing tackles, senior players dropping the ball. That was the biggest disappointment for me. It was actually their senior players that were letting them down in this game. I don't know what's happened. These guys were guns just 12 months ago. I don't know what's happened.
And it's been their senior players for a while now. As you said, the Couchmans, I thought Loco was really good the minutes he was on the field. Egan, Hamish Stewart, these guys.
Even with Stewart. So Stewart made 2 errors.
Yes.
He can. He's the young guy. He's allowed to make those errors. And also, he fucking created one of the own, he's got the equal most amount of line break assists as the next, he's actually trying to create something. Anyway, sorry.
No, I agree with you. It's it's those experienced guys. And I'm getting to the point where if I'm the Dragons, are you picking Val every week?
Honestly, I think even with Gutho and Val, I think you have to consider going, you know what? Let's just give some young fella some game time for next year.
Yeah,
and that's coming from Val is so good. He is so good. He's such a good player, a legend of a bloke, but I don't know where the form has gone.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Val, I can't believe what's happened to Val this year. That has blown me away.
Game 3 Origin last year, he was unbelievable. There must be some off-field stuff going on with some of these senior players.
There has to be something more.
Because like these, we're not talking about guys that, you know, sometimes you can get like superstar players, but you know they can be a bit rat's ass sometimes. Like, you know, like they up and down. One good year, one bad year, one good year, one bad year. So you're going to go, yeah, that's just their personality type. Guys like Val and Gutho on that, like, mate, before this year, Gutho might have had 2 bad games in his whole career. You know, he's an 8 out of 10 every week. Now, look, I think, you know, him at centre, having spent a whole off-season at fullback, you know, it's going to be hard for him to adjust as quickly as he needs to. But, yeah, that's the disappointing thing. Like, you know, he shot out of the line, he missed that tackle. Then Josh Kerr, his attempt on Tomato Martin? I think it was. Oh, far out, man. I don't know what's happening there, but maybe they're playing busted.
Yeah, as you said, like these young forwards are having a red hot crack. But, mate, it was just a couple of, like, those tries that Tomato Martin scored. But that's not NRL standard.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. And like, listen, if a young guy does that, you go, yeah, he's a young fella. He lost concentration.
Yeah, it's, you know, without digging the boot into him, you know, like Val Holmes has played 11 games this year. He's had 15 handling errors. Like when you have a look at the other guys that are on this list as far as handling errors, like there's, you know, a lot of these outside backs are guys that are kick targets, that they are getting handling errors for drop balls like that. Val's never one of those guys. Like these are just flat stick handling errors that and I haven't got the missed tackle stats in front of me, but I'd be confident saying Val would be right at the top of that for centres this year.
He'd have to be.
He'd have to be.
I don't
if
know
he's not top
centre.
3, I'd be shocked.
Like, yeah, it's tough, man. Because I thought this young forward pack was phenomenal. Like, I think if you're a Jargons fan, focus on how good this young forward pack looks.
Yeah.
Mate, Couchman, I'll let you speak out Toby Couchman.
Well, I was just going to talk about both the Couchmans. I thought they were great. Made 40-odd tackles each, up around the 150 metre mark.
Toby
as well.
Couchman, 180 metres.
Yeah.
70 post-contact against a Warriors forward pack.
Yeah, the pair of them are so good. You know, that is at least you got like some sort of green shoots there if you're a Dragons fan in terms of your young forward pack, because the pair of those guys, they've been setting the standard really for the they've been the best forwards for the Dragons all year. So there's something to kind of hang on there. They're not making many errors and stuff like that as well, like a lot of other more senior players are around them. So you've got some green shoots there. Those two are something to look forward to, something that you can build around. Hamish Stewart's been pretty good this year as well, a little bit quiet in this game, but there are a couple there that, you know, if you can hang on to them for the next couple of years, you got something there to work off.
Well, that initial overs line and offload that he threw was outstanding. But look, I know he made 2 errors, but 44 tackles, 0 missed on an edge as a young player. You don't see that. You don't see that.
I just said Val would have to be in the top 3 centres for missed tackles. He's in the top 3 for the game.
The whole game.
Whole game.
For errors, did you say?
No, for missed tackles. So, like, when you think about this, like, Ezra Mam's at number 1. He gets targeted week in, week out. He's an easy target. Like, he's only missed 7 more tackles than Val this year. It goes Ezra Mam, Tom Starling, and Tom Starling, I'll let him go because he probably makes 50 a week.
And also he's shooting out of the line to
Shooting
get
out
line
of the
speed.
line, yes. Val's at 48 missed tackles in 11 games.
Where's he at for errors in compared to centres? Do you have that there?
Yeah, I don't have for centres, but he's about 15th or 16th in the competition for errors. But the context is that handling errors get taken off like wingers and stuff all the time.
Catching
they
balls
compete
and
in
that.
the air.
Yeah.
So it'd be much worse than that.
Yeah. But yeah, if I'm a Dragons fan, I'd be just zoning in on this young forward pack. What I did like from Dean Young is he said, you know what? Experienced boys, you're on the bench. Here you go, young forward pack. This jersey is now yours. This club's reputation is now on your shoulders. And young men can sometimes thrive in those circumstances and they can sometimes wilt away. What I like about this young forward pack, they said, fucking oath, it is our job. And
Yes.
they nailed it.
They
They nailed it.
Yeah. My one counter to that, I did find it bizarre that Luciano Leilua didn't get on until 30 minutes to go. I think in a team that is struggling for points in their halves, is struggling for creativity from your halves, your fullback, and just all over the team, like he seems to be the only little spark they've got. I think I'd probably be getting him into the game earlier with these young guys.
The only thing I don't know if this is the case, but one explanation for that would be like Dean Young they're in literally the depths of a rebuild. He's trying to send messages to everyone.
Yep.
And so, like, you may be Leilua, who is the best attacking forward we've got, but do you do the little things right? No, therefore you're not getting as many minutes.
Yeah, fair.
Now, I don't know if that is the case. I'm just saying I have seen that in squads where a super talented guy isn't get selected, not because he's not the best player, but because the coach is trying to say to everyone else, these are the standards that we expect all parts of the game. If you don't meet them, unfortunately, I can't give you a lot of minutes.
Which might be it. I think it's considering other players are getting picked every single week. I think he's a weird guy to put on that hill.
So, yeah, as I said, really, really happy with this young forward pack, but it's tough. Look, Tui Pelotu, he ran for 208 metres, the money man, which is great. But, yeah, just a tough loss. On to the Warriors. They're just rolling, aren't they? They are just rolling along nicely. They're so confident in what they do. Their standards are so high. You know, it's too early to say now, but you know, it's beginning at the very least to look like James Fisher-Harris might be one of the best signings of the last whatever years you want to put. When you consider how consistent this footy side has been since he's arrived, and you consider the potential ramifications of a good culture filtering down through this talent that they have, it could go down as one of the better signings in a long time.
There is nothing I hate more, Kempy, than a Sunday 6:15 game. Warriors v Panthers this Sunday. That is going to be an absolute cracker.
Bell ringer.
And if Fish can put in a good performance there, huge.
The momentum. Like if the Wires can knock the Panthers off, it's lock them in for a premiership. As in lock them in for a premiership threat side. Not that they'll get the premiership.
Yeah. Whilst we're on that quickly, the Warriors are at $2.70 at the moment. If Panthers boys don't back up, which there's every chance they won't, they don't need them to. Unreal value on the Wires there, in my opinion.
And also, like, and maybe I'm getting, thinking about this too deeply, but like, if you're the Panthers, it is the Warriors, so you don't want to lose that first spot. But does Ivan Cleary say, do I really want to show all my weapons now?
Who does this game mean more to? It's the Warriors by a distance.
Like, if Panthers drop it, they just go, yeah, sweet, whatever. I wonder whether Ivan just goes, do I want my boys backing up? Do I really need to? We're on top of the table. We're clearly the best side in the competition.
I will say this about the Warriors, and as you said, Tomato Martin, I think he was in Team of the Week. He was great. I thought the Dragons, some of their defensive efforts on him were abysmal, but I do think it was very evident they're lacking that kicking game on the weekend.
For sure.
The Dragons didn't put them in enough bad spots for it to become super evident, but I think against the top teams, and it wouldn't shock me if we're sitting here next Monday going, geez, a Metcalf or someone, they need that long kicking game.
Well, there's a reason why Jackson Ford ran for 171 metres, Fish 176, Lecker 104, Laban 151, Aaron Clark 155, and then Stowers Smith 134, because they had to run themselves out of trouble.
Yep.
They weren't able. Like sometimes meters can be deceptive because you look at a front row and he had 80 meters. Yeah, no shit. He was camped down in the opposing's 20 meters. He didn't need to have all those tough carries out of his own end because they dominated field position. So yeah, it's a fair point. I agree with you, mate. Even though Tomato Martin's been great, that long kicking game that's been so crucial to a system-style footy side, it's going to be interesting how he fiddles with that.
Yeah, and come September, you're going to need it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're playing a guy like Cleary.
Yeah, if you're going to win a comp this year, you're going to need a long kicking game in this side.
Carl Pereira with another 2 tries. Geez, that try where he stepped back inside and just kind of like...
Yeah,
like
frustrating.
That was close. Was that like more to the start of the game too?
I think that was the second try of the game. Yeah.
Let me check what minute that was. Like that's a 75.
11. It was like 15th minute or something.
11th minute.
Yeah.
Like that's a 75th minute.
Yeah.
Everyone's busted. The trail on the inside is we're too tired. 11th minute.
Just on Loffy as well. Just keeping this strike rate. 61 tries in 60 games.
He looks like a different person, I reckon, playing for the Warriors. Like, don't get me wrong, he played well for the Titans, in my opinion. Really good finisher. But it just looks like it means more to him playing for the Warriors.
Yeah. I reckon he's going to be one that's going to be in and around your Maroon squad over the next few years.
Okay. I like that. Plenty of speed. In regards to some other performances, obviously RTS is looking like he's out for the rest of the year, which sucks. But they've got a lot of depth at the moment at the Warriors.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, out for the rest of the year. But, I mean, that might be Roger Dunn in the NRL, unfortunately. It's devastating. I remember Kempy, we were playing touch footy around the corner here down at Queen's Park, 2011, and with the game on before us, someone said, oh, that's the kid the Roosters have signed. Remember watching him and just doing the step and bouncing and fucking all over the place going, my God, how on earth is this going to work in the NRL? You know, little skinny twig. 2 years later, he's on the wing, winning a comp, monstering people. Still had the step, but just the body, like for how small he was when he first came to Sydney.
He's huge now.
Mate. And somehow he's just as dynamic as he was, like a freak RTS. And if that is the end of his career, one of the great New Zealand rugby league players.
Yeah,
of all
100%.
time.
Yeah, I put him up in the top tier of all timers for them.
Dally M winner, like, and I think the Warriors are going to be very successful over the next few years, and I think a lot of that will. I think RTS has played a crucial part in it, and the way that he has been, he won a Dally M. He was at the Warriors a couple of years ago. Reece Walsh arrives, and he goes, I'll go to the wing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You be the guy.
Seems like a legend of a bloke too, RTS. I thought Jacob Laban, one of his best games in NRL.
Yes.
I thought he was great. I thought he was really good. And that's what's so fucking scary about this Warriors side. You've got guys like Laban just like floating around, sometimes in first grade, sometimes not in first grade. I thought he was outstanding.
I'll tell you my other one that I thought was very good in this game, and he sort of jumped into a bit of a link role, Vaimonga. He looked unreal playing that role, I thought.
Jeez, doesn't he just typify that old school Warriors like fear into opposition? Like he comes on, you can tell the opposition's going, oh shit, here we go.
In Vegas last year, we sat down with SJ for about half an hour or so and just talking to him. And at that time, it was all about Vaimonga and Lecker. Yeah, everyone was so hyped about Lecker, as they should be. Remember, I said to SJ, like, which one do you? And he goes, mate, everyone's losing it about Lecker, as they should. Vaimonga's the one that's maybe a little bit more well-rounded in his game. And I've sort of, when someone like that says that, you keep it on. I haven't really seen it. Like he's been good, don't get me wrong, but I thought when he jumped into that 13 sort of role the other day, he looked like he had a really good footy IQ, probably more than what I've given him credit for. And, he doesn't need to use it all the time with the side they've got between Barnett, Jackson Ford, Aaron Clark, these sort of guys. But once again, to what you said, just the depth of talent they have here.
Mental.
The Warriors are doing unbelievable things this year. They look great. With all due respect to him, Lecker's done fuck all. Realistically, he's not having as many runs.
Heights.
He's not having impact. He's not breaking tackles. He's not doing what he was doing last year. When they were going great, he was scoring a match-winning try every 3 weeks. He's just playing his role.
Yeah, he's just rounding his game out perfectly. He's just rounding his game out perfectly. He's 20 years old.
Yes,
he's 20 years old. Like, what is the ceiling for a guy like Lecker? There is no ceiling.
Sorry, the term he's doing fuck all wasn't fair. I just mean he's not having the impact that he was last year.
You're comparing it to he was known as this game-breaking player every single week last year.
Yep.
Whereas this year he's been good, but just hasn't had those a lot. I think he had one big moment where he won the game. I think earlier in the year, but outside of that, he's just been doing his job really well.
Been doing his job. Yeah.
But yeah, he's 20 years old, bro. He is 20 years old, and then you've got Laban is 22. Vaimonga, I think, is 20 as well. And let me check. Tanner Stower Smith, 22. Fuck.
They're putting together a footy side over there.
So you've got Stower Smith and Vaimonga, Lecker, and Laban. The oldest player of those 4 guys I just mentioned is 22 years old, bro.
I'll tell you the biggest advantage I think the Warriors have found over the last year or two. Coming to Australia isn't an issue anymore. It used to be, they used to be unbelievable at home. They'd go to away games, they'd struggle. Just having looked obviously about the Dragons over here on the weekend. When you go back through the rest of the season, they beat Parramatta over here. They beat the Melbourne Storm over here. They had a loss to the Sharkies in round 5. I think that's the only away game they've lost this season. That's enormous for them.
Yeah. Quick question. What does Sam Healy do? Does he stay as he's too good to be playing fucking 20. What do you play on the weekend? 26 minutes.
I think Sam Healy is a good player. I think he's in a spot, though, where he is in a great 1-2 punch in a side that can win a comp in the next few years. How old's Sam Healy? What is he, 22?
He's 23 and Egan is 29.
I'd be patient if I was Sam Healy.
Yeah.
I think he's in the right spot for a hooker like him.
Yeah. It's just so tough. 23 years old. He's probably going to get offered a big contract. Like, if I need a 9 for my club, him, Owen Paddy. Now, I know Paddy probably wouldn't go anywhere, but him, Owen Paddy, Riley Smith maybe. But he'd be my first call just due to the fact that he's probably not on a big wicket and Egan's at least got another 3 years in him.
Yes.
2 years.
I think the other thing that if I was the Warriors, I think he'd also be well aware he's seen enough of the Warriors play their footy. Like, it's not like he's sitting behind Blake Brayley, who's the Iron Man that never misses footy.
True.
He's sitting behind probably the guy, if someone's going to get injured or miss footy, is probably the most likely hooker in the game, realistically. So I'd be sitting patiently.
Yeah.
The team he's in right
Yeah. My personal opinion is, I was just asking the question. I think he should sit patiently
Yes.
too. I just know, and I don't want him to go Warriors fans. I know you're already getting upset, but it's more, there are a lot of clubs out there that would pay him $500,000-600,000 to come to the club and be a starting hooker.
100%.
I reckon he's probably on $150,000 right now. Because he came from Penrith. Egan was locked in as 80 minutes for a very long time. I don't think he's... When did he last re-sign? Maybe 2 years ago? Anyway, we'll see. It's just a question. I want him to stay, and I agree with you too. Like, if I'm his manager, I'm saying, guy, mate, you got a 2-year window here where you might win a comp.
Yep.
If after that 2-year window you look at across and Egan's, I don't know, he's gone on and he's going to play till he's 36, 37, and you kind of miss the window potentially, maybe Fish is retiring out. I don't know, but yeah, I reckon the next 2 years you stick.
I think
around
as
for
well,
sure.
like a team that can win a comp, and it's not like you're sitting on the bus and you're not playing footy. Like, you play an integral role in this
Absolutely,
side.
yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, this next game is powered by Lontel, the best internet in all the land. Use code Bloke when you first create your own account with Lontel. Go to lontel.net.au/bloke. You get 7 days free trial, and you also get credit. And no credit card is needed, no contract is needed to try Lontel Internet. Trust me, give them a call. If you're trying to hook it up, give them a call, and you won't be sitting on hold for like 20 minutes like when you call other people. They'll pick up pretty quickly. They'll have your internet running within I can't guarantee it, but for me anyway, it was like 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes. They're the best in the business, because I know what you're thinking. Change internet, this takes ages. You've got to sit on the phone for 3 or 4 hours. Promise you, give it a crack. You will not be regret it. And also, if you create your own account and have your own internet, you can create your own code and give it to your mates. And if your mates used it, Lontel will give you $50 cash. Boom. There you go. Best internet in the land. Alrighty, Seagulls defeat the Titans 12-10 in one of the all-time slingers out at Manly.
Fosbowl.
It was a tough carry for everyone involved, but good stuff. Look, they had a bit of a down night. I think with the Manly Seagulls, look, the biggest takeaway for me personally is I'm not necessarily concerned, because I like the fact that they played poorly to a degree but still managed to get the win. That's a sign of a good side. But a bit of a question, and look, most teams would have this question too, guys, so I'm not just singling out Manly, but they rely so heavily on Kohler and Olakau'atu to generate momentum for them. They really were struggling for answers, and I know it was a wet track, guys. I know it was a slinger of a game, so it's only one game, but you can't. I've got to call it like I see it. They did really look sometimes out of answers when they don't have Olakau'atu and Kohler there. Now, you could say that for every team, but it's just something to consider for Manly going forward. Can they create a game plan if Olakau'atu, for example, isn't in the side come finals time? That's the only question I took away. It doesn't mean I believe that's going to happen, but I just feel like a team that was flying in attack really did struggle for other options outside of Olakau'atu and Kohler. Thoughts, mate?
There was a real sick little part of me that sort of enjoyed watching Kieran Foran finally not look like the most relaxed bloke in the world. I felt like the other night was like his first real, this is what coaching's like when it isn't all going smoothly, all that sort of stuff. I agree with you. I think obviously Olakau'atu is an incredibly important part of this side, but I guess the positive is they still find a way to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm being nitpicky here. Like, fuck, you can't expect these boys to be like, they lost their two best players. Like,
yeah,
it's normal. But I've got to speak about it.
I also thought, to their credit, we'll get to them. I thought the Titans defended well.
Way better than they usually do.
Yeah, I thought they really,
especially their goal line defense.
Big positive to take out of this for Titans fans. Seagulls though, Turbo, he's due back round 16, I believe they're saying. Does he come straight back into fullback? Do you look at him at centre? Like, every year we have a different fullback that impresses at Manly in the midst of that KO weeks left as well. I love what Clayton's doing at the moment, mate.
This is the thing though, like, yes, is Tommy Turbo. We all know Tommy Turbo. But it's not even really about Tommy Turbo. It's like, can you make changes to a side that's on a 7 from 8 game, 8 from 9 game winning streak? Like, what message does that send?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
I don't know.
Is it a different message if it's Tom Trbojevic?
I just think that, it's tough because it's Tommy Turbo. Yeah. But look, I'll speak from experience. Like, there would be some maybe fringies or like guys in that aren't as the big dogs would be like, oh, fuck, that's rough on Clayton. You know, like, but at the same time, those fringies would be like, yeah, it is Tommy Turbo though. So it's look, you know what? It all depends on what Kieran Foran has been telling them lately. If he's been telling them it doesn't matter who you are, the best people get picked and they keep their spot until they lose their spot to a degree. Like, if you earn that jersey and you keep earning it each week, then you will not be dropped. Then he goes, if he's gone from saying it doesn't matter who you are in this team, it's all about the team, but then bringing in a guy because his name is Tommy Turbo, then that could create a bit of friction because it's like, well, you told us one thing, but it's not same in the sense of it's had the same result, but it's a little bit like the dog situation where like they were super hyper aggressive of those changes last year, and I think they made one too many to the point where most players in that squad, and this is just outside looking in, probably deep down think, fuck, anyone could get fucking result here. Now, I'm not saying it's a one-for-one like comparison. I'm just saying, like, if that is the case, that it has very much been, the messaging has been team first, you get that jersey, you earn it, it doesn't matter who your name is, and then you change that. But in saying that, if he has been communicating really well with the roster and they can really understand, like, guys, this is Tommy Turbo, then maybe that's how you
I think if Turbo's fit, I would imagine he's back in.
Yep.
At
fullback or centre, you reckon?
Probably at fullback, I think, and Kohler back in the centres as well. Like, with the respect to Falola and he's, early in his career, but, Turbo playing at his best versus Falola at his best, like,
of course.
What's the ingredient that's probably going to get you closer to winning a comp or whatever it might be? So I feel like, when Turbo's ready to go, I would imagine he would come straight back in, would be my thought.
I'd be probably bringing him into centres though. I don't want him running all those Ks at fullback.
Yep.
Like, of course, Turbo is the best player at the club on his day. Like, I think there's no denying that. Again, it's just about the messaging. How you've just got to. That's the tough thing about being a head coach is you've got to massage these situations there's no real right answer because Falalo's been outstanding and they've been killing it.
If you do that, if you bring him back at centre, who are you having a tough conversation with? Ruben Garrick or Lehigh? One of them's not making
I think Saab would probably be the first one you'd
Saab would go.
And then Garrick would go back out to this, which sucks because Saab's actually probably played his best fucking 2 weeks of footy. At the very least, last week he was outstanding against the Tigers.
Yeah, right. Big call.
Look, I don't know if I'd make that call. I'm just saying, like, that's the option I would take if I took one.
I'll tell you what, just on another topic, I think Jamal Fogarty hit the best spiral bomb I've seen in years on the weekend. Keeney's still looking for that fucking thing. That thing moving in the air, got so much height on it. That was perfection, that nudge. That was like shot out of a ball machine.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Nightmare.
Incredible. I don't think Fogarty, I don't think he'll ever get enough credit for how good he is as a seven. No. And I say that as someone that didn't give him enough credit. Like, I thought that Raiders would just be pretty good without him to a degree. Not the same as to him, but I thought they wouldn't fall off as much as they have. And also, look at his influence at Manly. Like, we got a side here that had DCE as their seven last year that wasn't playing anywhere near this footy. Now, I'm not saying he's a better player than DCE, but it's a pretty close comparison. It's a relatively similar roster with a different coach, obviously.
The other guy I want to give a big rap to, and I think over the last 2 years, just he's got better week on week, and I think he's now become one of those front row forwards that I just know I can rely on every single week. We're going to get Paseka. 45 minutes he played in this. He went for 170 run meters, 76 post contact. He has been enormous this season for them. 20 tackles, 0 missed. I love what I'm seeing from Paseka at the moment.
I reckon he had, was it 2 years ago where he had probably the best year of his career, but I reckon this has been a more consistent year. He might not have had the highs that he had a couple of years ago.
Every week, you just know what you're going to get from him.
Yeah.
That's what they needed.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought I didn't mind Jackson Sherrill on the edge there. I thought he got through his work. Did pretty well. Got through a bunch of tackles. Ben Travojevic, obviously, he's got a Cat 1, I think. Another guy that I think has just been so good as a signing is Kobe Hetherington. Like, he's another guy that you know what you're going to get from him. He's not going to take a backward step. He's going to go all day. Great impact.
Just on Burbo as well, that pill that he threw on the inside to Clayton, I think it was, just at speed in the wet. There's a lot that goes into that, a lot that can go wrong. Just summed it up perfectly.
And also for there to be no doubt whether it was forward or not.
Yes.
A lot of these inside balls, like, that could have been forward. That was like not a doubt at all.
Yeah. It was interesting as well, coming out of this game, like you mentioned, Burbo, he obviously got the HIA and whatnot like that. They only used 3 of their interchange players in this game.
Interesting. Wonder what Foz is doing. What do you reckon about Manly, mate? How you feeling about their performance?
Yeah, this was their clunkiest of the Foz ball era, I would say. It was bound to probably happen at some stage. It probably run out of puff a little bit. Obviously, some players missing. Lehigh Hopewadi, another big one that's missing for them as well. They rely on him a lot. Great out of his own end, and obviously a lot of class for them too. So, yeah, not their prettiest one. Good sign, though, when you're able to win games ugly. So what are they, 7 from 8 now under Fosball. The only game they've lost is against Penrith. I mean, that's a pretty good result, all things considered. But, yeah, this was definitely not the prettiest version that we've seen of the Fosball era.
Yeah.
But as I said, probably three of their better players out, can probably forgive them that.
I thought Josh Felaherty, he's a guy coming through the junior grades. He was a bit of a prodigy. I think he had a year in Harold Matts where
Is it the Roosters?
No, he was at Manly.
Former Tigers legend.
Him and Latu were on the same edge.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty sure if you go back, Felaherty had a season where he was the top point scorer and he wasn't a goal kicker.
Wow.
Scored that many tries that season, was just unbelievable. And he sort of he started at Manly. He's gone over to the West Tigers. He's now returned. He's rough around the edges. What I did love, there was a moment that Titans made a break through his edge and he got back up. He chased it. He ended up making the tackle and meter out. As I said, rough around the edges. He's not the full package yet, but I just love when you see young guys putting in that sort of effort and get rewarded in those moments as well. It was unreal to see.
Yeah. So look, Seagulls, clunky, all that stuff, but they got the win. Shitty conditions, they got the win. That's all that matters. And I do think is, as you mentioned, mate, it is a mixture of they were clunky, but also the Titans' defense was much better than it has been. And look, how can you begrudge a side like when you're missing your key points of attack, which is Turbo, Olakau'atu, Kolar, even Lehigh to a degree? If they look a little bit stranded when they've got good ball, like that's probably going to happen. You're missing your best attacking players.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm being super nitpicky, it's just like it is a little bit of a sign of if they have injuries to key players, the drop off is quite a bit in attack. Now it's only one game and they could build into it, but I'm just saying.
And I also think realistically 12-10, like I think it's like Manly were in control for the vast majority of that game. Realistically, Titans scored pretty late off a kick to AJ Brimson as well. So I think they were in a little bit more control than what 12-10 says.
Yes. Now onto the Titans. Look, their defense was way better than it's been. Way better than it's been. But the errors, man. Like, yeah, look, it's got to be tough being a Titans fan because they showed so much promise where you go, you know what? If we play like this every single week, I can cop a loss much better. But some of the errors, you're just going, boys, just hold the ball. You're defending your absolute backsides off. You're doing everything right. The Manly aren't looking great at the moment. The game is there to be won. They just couldn't put it together.
Yeah, 18 errors in this game. Honestly, mate, if it's maybe 14, they could have won this game.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to be clinical. You just had to not be a train wreck with your errors. And as you said, I think the biggest takeaway for Titans fans here, it's a very, they're trending up in a very slow fashion, but just their defense, mate. Like I just, they haven't had this game in them previously where they defend like that. I think the Seagulls had almost 55% of the ball. I don't think you can see 12 points against them. I think there's positives to take away from this. And at the end of the day, they were their own worst enemy. At least what lost them this game is in total control of the Gold Coast Titans.
Yeah, it's like such
it's frustrating, though,
100%.
Yeah,
yes. Like they were Manly were there to be beaten.
Yep.
They did all the hard stuff. They did the hard shit. The hard shit was the defense. And then when they got the ball in hand, which is the good stuff, it's just like, they just got to be patient. I do. Kenny Campbell. Kenny's ball playing. I wonder whether they need to maybe push Campbell out one wider and potentially getting Kenny just throwing that first easy pass. Because I just think that there was a few times where you saw Campbell kind of swinging out the back where you go, okay, that's a great ball player out the back there. Kenny's running game is one of the best in the competition for fullbacks, but I just wonder whether there's a bit of a tweaking in an attack. If Kenny's ball playing can't improve, I wonder if they could put Jaden Campbell a little bit wider because I feel like this year for Campbell, although he's had his moments, he's just not in enough space at the moment to do what he needs to do. He's always so close to the ruck. I don't know how you do it. Maybe you get like a 13 to be the dummy half and you get a number 9 to be the link man and you pull Campbell out further. But I'd like to see Campbell out a bit wider with a bit more space.
Yeah, I feel like Jaden Campbell moving to 5'8" this year from halfback, I think he's in just a weird sort of spot as far as finding his feet, not wanting to overstep on Zane Harrison, who's obviously taking control of this side and whatnot. But I just feel like he's stuck in a bit of a twilight zone of where he should be. And I tend to agree with you, mate. When he is just jumping in that first receiver and playing out the back to Kano Keeney, because Keeney's ball playing isn't there, it does feel like JC is a bit of a waste. And because it's still, there's just moments throughout this game where Jaden Campbell just did things that you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, crazy.
Just don't see enough of it.
Yeah. And it's just, and I think you add that on to the fact that when Kenny gets the ball at the back, unfortunately, it's not that dangerous. Like if you have enough pace to cover him, danger's sorted most of the time.
Yeah.
Whereas like the top tier fullbacks, they can beat you in multiple ways.
Yes.
And I think that's the last piece of Kinney's game that he needs to put together. Whereas like Campbell, on the other hand, he can beat you with pace, he can beat you with footwork, and he can beat with ball playing. So hopefully Kinney can work on that. I think that's his biggest. If I'm his coach heading into next year, I'm almost saying, mate, forget the running stuff. We know how good you are there. I want you ball playing constantly this preseason to get it better.
I know we said it 2 weeks ago, and he obviously got a HIA in this game. They got a bye next week, so it won't matter. He'll be back the week after. But mate, loving Oliver Pascoe this 9. Really
he's
good call.
He's actually 26 years old. Did you know that?
Yeah, he's been he's been playing up at Ipswich for the last few years, I believe. I probably didn't realize he was that old, to be honest with you. But I'm loving what I'm seeing out of him, mate. He's fantastic. And we sort of said in the preseason that it didn't feel like Sammy Verrills had this spot locked up. And, I mean, you got Oliver Pascoe, but you also had Luke Summerton who came off the bench in this game too. So it looks like...
And Verrills meeting with Gussie Gould as well.
Yeah, so Verrills has fallen well and truly down the pecking order. And I think they look great with Pascoe, mate. I think they look sensational. And I think Luke Summerton only probably got on because Pascoe got that HIA. I think he was probably going to go the distance.
Sam Verrills is an interesting one, isn't he? Because, you know, when he signed with the Titans, you thought, okay, that's the 9 jersey sorted for the next bloody decade nearly.
Yep.
He just hasn't seemed to even like he's got a lot of, he had flair, he had good ball running at the Roosters and everything like that, but like even if he was just serviceable at the Titans, he would have kept that jersey. Like even if he was just a guy that made his tackles and had good service to his 6 and 7, I feel like that would have been enough to go, you're our 9, good, sorted. But even that, very strange career at the moment, Verrills. I feel like obviously he had that early peak where he won a grand final for the Roosters. I don't know if he's hit his potential yet. I really don't. Oh, I know he hasn't hit his potential.
Well, he definitely hasn't hit his potential. But even when you go back to that grand final, like he was the first try scorer in that grand final.
Yep.
Like even then you were going, okay, the Roosters are sorted hooker for the next 10 years once Jake Friend retires, goes up to the Titans, and it just, I don't know, it's just never, like I feel like I can't even really point to a season or a moment that was his peak up at the Titans realistically. It's sort of been
I know he's had some injuries for periods, but he's also had opportunities to cement the spot. So a bit of a tough one there.
What is he? Well, he's 27 years old. Yeah, so there's still footy left there.
Anything on Titans, mate?
Yeah, I think you're spot on, Kepi. Like just that they had a chance, but just too many errors in the end ended up costing them. Yeah, Phil Sami good with the ball at times, but yeah, five of the best errors, unfortunately. You know, not what you're after. Someone who I thought was probably a bit stiff to miss Origin, but yeah, you wouldn't want 5 errors in that arena, I don't suppose. I reckon one bloke who ripped in for the Titans that you haven't touched on yet, Bo Firma, played Origin last year. Thought he was pretty handy the other night as well. But yeah, you know, they mixed it with Manly, but yeah, unfortunately their own worst enemy.
He's had a good last month, Bo.
Yeah,
just the errors still though. They kill me. The errors kill me with Bo. Like he's an Origin level player. He's a senior player. He just can't afford to be having those errors, and they're not. The problem is they're not errors where it's like, okay, we're in good ball, it's a fourth tackle, and I'm looking for an offload. These are just like in contact errors. He's just got to find a way to get rid of that.
No shock to anyone given his last name, but Jesus and Cleese Haas a big bit of gear.
It's a big boy.
There's so much potential there.
Yep.
Do you reckon he's a middle forward or an edge?
I'd say middle these days. Like edge with how fast the game is now, lateral you got to be.
Yeah,
I'd say middle. Okay, on to the Cowboys defeating the Rabbitohs 30-18. 30-18. What I liked about this for the Cowboys was like the game swung. So the game momentum swung quite a lot. And I feel like the Cowboys a couple of weeks ago against the Eels, they didn't have the ability to wrangle back momentum. What I liked about this game, although you don't want them to lose momentum, their ability when Jason Taumalolo came back on the field to wrangle the momentum back and win relatively comfortably was really, really good. I think they learnt their lessons of the weeks before. The Cowboys in attack, watching them go is just like it is prime time rugby league. Watching the Cowboys flow. Tommy Chester, look, I know he had that offload that went forward after he made this crazy line break. He tries to take the fullback on instead of drawing and passing. Look, obviously, in a perfect world, we want that out of Tommy Chester's game, but he does so much like stuff that almost feels emotion-based. I feel like give him that once a game because guess what? He's going to fucking save you 3 tries and score 2 tries on the other end. And I hope, and I know Peyton probably, he's part of his development, so I don't think he will. I hope they don't try and remove that high emotion style of play from Chester. I hope they try to just funnel it a little bit better because, yes, he might do something silly like that where he tries to take the fullback on instead of drawing and passing, but it'll also win you a game.
100%, and it's that sort of confidence. Like did he make the wrong play? 100%.
Yeah.
But he made the wrong play because he backs himself constantly, which is why he's coming up with so many big plays, which is why he's get through so much work. I think I've said it before on the show, but I was standing at LAX airport after the Vegas games and I stood next to Tom Chester and I was like, there's nothing to you. Like, you had 25 runs of the football last night. And I sort of walked away thinking, he can't keep that up.
Well, his nickname definitely won't be Chessbra, that's for sure.
No, it won't be. Just when you think, geez, Tom Chester made the biggest mistake of that play.
Any nicknames for Tommy Chester?
None that come to mind immediately. Great game, though. A couple of try-saving tackles. And, well, he's been good with the ball in hand all year. Another 250 of the best on the weekend. But some of his try-savers yesterday, I thought, developing nicely, getting into his work.
Well, I'm going to call him Tommy Chessbra. NordVPN Defense Player of the Week is Tommy Chessbra. Also known affectionately as the Snake from... Is it the Snake? What's the actual nickname from Willie Mason? He had arms like snakes?
I think it was the brown snake.
The brown snake, and then
Arms
they
like
did
brown
the
snake,
snake
yeah.
celebration.
Yes.
But he is our NordVPN Defense Player of the Week. Those try savers, especially that second one.
Automatically in his top 2 nicknames.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
Yeah, exactly. The try saver. So the first one was with him and Scotty Drinkwater, Alex Johnson, the best finisher in the history of rugby league. And then the second one, to make that play, Alex Johnson scores that 9 times out of 10. 9.9 times out of 10 he scores that. Just to make that play, all effort, all heart, all ticker. The NordVPN, he is our NordVPN Defense Player of the Week. Guys, I was overseas this season. I used NordVPN for myself. Sporting events, TV shows, all that good stuff. And another great feature is that you can switch your virtual location to so many different places in the world. This allows you to save money by purchasing flights, hotels, subscriptions from other countries at cheaper price. It's also super safe. NordVPN provides you with privacy online, leaving no digital footprint by hiding your IP address. It's like wearing invisibility cloak online. To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/bloke. Our link will also give you 4 extra months on 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the podcast episode description box. 30 days, guys. So you give it a try. If you don't like it 30 days, no money-back guarantee. Best in the biz, guys. So Tommy Chessbra is our NordVPN Defense Player of the Week. The Brown Snake killing it again.
He's one... I wouldn't be surprised to see him potentially be a part of a Queensland squad or like get a tracksuit, come in for a week or so. I think there's huge potential there.
I mean, even this series, if there's an extended squad spot, like similar to what the Blues do at times where they bring people in on a bye, mate, I wouldn't be opposed to him and Purdue going in there.
Yeah, I've always been huge on Purdue and I still am, but geez, mate, like performances week to week, Tom Chester's probably getting the better of him as a whole this year.
And it's Purdue's been playing good too. Just shows you how good Chester's been. So really, really good stuff. There was one play where like it was just so him where it was like the 4th tackle they were in good ball and someone's on the left side of the field and someone was like stepping in and kind of offloading. And I'm thinking, okay, he's going to offload to a middle forward. And Tommy Chessbra is just standing there going, yeah, I'm in the middle of the field on the 4th just looking for the ball. In good ball.
Yeah.
And it's just that old-fashioned when you're a kid playing footy of like, I just love it. I just want to be in there. Just give me the ball. Give me an opportunity to run the ball. So, he's such an exciting player. Who else did that for you for the Cowboys, mate?
I want to give Scotty Drinkwater a shout out. Obviously, there's the very obvious things from yesterday. 4 line break assists, 3 try assists.
That offload.
That offload, incredible. All this stuff that we know Drinky can do. The one thing we've been critical of Drinky is defensively. And a lot of the time, I feel like when guys get into space, Drinky, when he's at fullback, almost tries to like avoid contact to some extent. He gave away a penalty on Cody Wall because he went high, but he threw everything at him. And then there was another try saver that he was with Chester on AJ in the corner.
Well, he was the main. Yeah, he was the main
focus,
one.
Yeah, which I thought huge from Drinky. Like it's not very often you see those things. He did all the things in attack we know he can do, but defensively saved 2 tries there as well, which is great to see. They end up winning by 2 tries.
Bro, that try assist where he looks up, he sees a 3-on-2, he sees space, he hits the afterburners, but how comfortably he just went, boop, just dropped it out. Like he was so comfortable in that environment. Just like he made it look easy. I can't stress to you. You know how hard it is to brace for contact, then be confident enough to pull it out and basically drop it out of your hand like that. If your arm even gets touched the tiniest, that's getting knocked on. And he just does it so well.
And it's also credit to the man we just spoke about, Tommy Chester, to be able to do that. You have to have confidence in the guy outside you as well, that he's going to do his job and be there. Mate, I thought Todd Payton was dead man walking after round 2. I cannot believe how this has turned around. I've got 5 or 6 teams that I think can win the comp this year. Cowboys are in it for me.
With how good Clifford's playing, where the fuck did this come from?
Mate, well, once you get Tommy Dearden back into this side, they've got a lot of depth in a lot of key spots. Like you got Nanai to come back into this side. Helen Lukey couldn't be playing better footy. Tamalolo looks great. Tom McHaley's woken up and fucking starting to play like the Tom McHaley we always thought he could be.
Mm-hmm.
This is a footy side. Like Griffin Dean coming off the bench, Cohen Hess is playing good footy. They are looking fantastic at the moment, and if they can learn to play,
Reid Marnie's been great.
Reid Marnie's been unreal. Like he's got a bee in his bonnet at the moment. He's doing great things. I mean, they're 2 games into life without Tom Dearden. They haven't lost a game yet. Imagine when he comes back in.
They got Jake Clifford pinging 2-point field goals before half time.
Yep.
When he did that, that's when I was, as a South fan, I was like, we're not winning this game.
Yeah.
Nope.
Like that's stuff that Cleary does, and we go, how good's Cleary? Like Clifford, this form that he's in is just. I just didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I knew he could be an NRL half for sure. He's always shown talent, but he looks like a fucking 200-game veteran out there that's played a bit of Origin footy. That's how confident he looks out there whilst Dearden's not on the side.
In a host of hot field of bad calls I've made, wanting to have Purdue in the halves over him at the start of the season, in hindsight, an absolute fucking shocker. An absolute shocker.
To be fair, although I thought he showed enough last year, Clifford, he has had little hiccup starts. Remember at the Knights, he was leading the
for sure.
WM. So
In hindsight, though,
Yeah.
shocker.
In
He
hindsight's
is
a better
playing
word,
the house down
Yeah.
at the moment. He for a team like we're talking about the Queensland Maroons losing Tom Dearden, and Queensland are nervous without him. The Cowboys should be a train wreck without Tom Dearden, and Jake Clifford just steps up and does the job. He has been incredible this year. I love the performance by the guy next to him as well, Liam Sutton.
Yeah.
Scoring his first NRL try, big body. He's a guy that even when Dearden's back, I reckon you probably find a spot for him on a 6-man bench. I don't know, he gives me a bit of like Hugo Savala sort of feel to him.
Yeah,
Big body,
okay.
just a
Good
natural
body.
footballer. Not that they need everyone out in the centres or at wing or anything like that, but I think he'd be a handy guy for them to carry on their bench.
Yeah. I know you mentioned it earlier. Actually, I'll throw it to you, mate. Thoughts on Jason Tamalolo? What's doing there?
Yeah, I mean, he's been
So
fantastic this season, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Simplified a little bit. For whatever reason, it seems like from the outside looking in, like him and Todd Payton are on the same page again. He's just him and Tom McHaley for me have just been fantastic. The pair of them, giving the guys something to play off the back of. Clifford and Dearden before he got injured as well, really laid the platform and given them something to go with. I love Tom McHaley. I've made no bones about that this year. I thought he was outstanding as well on the weekend. 162 metres in the middle. JT had 174. So when you got 2 big guys like that, giving you that momentum, so valuable. Tom McHaley, by the way, 99 games now in the NRL without a try.
He came so close.
He's come so close in the
3 or
last
4
month.
times this year. Will he break it this weekend in game 100? We'll have to wait and see. But he's played some terrific footy this year. And again, we've spoken about guys who at some stage through a series wouldn't be surprised to see him in there. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get a role maybe with Queensland at some point through the series. He's played very good footy.
Mate, it's interesting. I think I read a bit of an article about Payton, and he said something along the lines of like he was opened up a bit more to the boys. And I think look, obviously you're not within the 4 walls, so you don't know how much, but I wonder whether, because when Payton came in as coach, there was this, it was almost like he portrayed, there was 2 Paytons, the Payton behind closed doors, that probably speaks to his mates, then the head coach, Toddy Payton, and he had this very much like even keel, whether they won or lost, monotone delivery in press conferences, and I get why coaches do that. I really do, because it reduces the amount of headlines. Like you don't want to give them as many headlines. Like for example, when Ricky Stewart gets emotional, which I love, by the way, there's headlines galore about it.
Yep.
I wonder whether Payton has gone, you know what, like that's not who I am. Like and maybe that's projecting a little bit off on the boys. The energy is flat. And maybe the Tamalolo situation in the playing group, he's opened up more to them, which has made them open up more to him, which has made them play better, because they look like a completely different side.
They do. I think the other thing that's helped them as well, mate, is that, I think there's always, once again, don't know what it's like inside the 4 walls. From the outside looking in, I think it's, I've always sort of, you mentioned like Tamalolo and Todd Payton, where they are, they seem to be in a good spot at the moment. I kind of feel like him and Drinky have been on a similar sort of path last few years. I think now that Drinky knows I'm going to the Dragons, the Cowboys know he's going to the Dragons, I think there's almost like a finish line there where it's like, let's play some footy.
Yeah.
Let's lean into
It's
this
all
now.
done.
It's all done.
Yeah.
It's sorted. There's no question marks here anymore. Who's who belongs where, who's going where. Now they can just focus on their footy. I think that's really helped them as well.
Should they re-sign him, Payton?
Yeah, bloody oath they should.
Yeah. I think at the very least a year, but I think a 2-year deal he's earned that so far this year. We're looking at round 13 right now. They've won games they shouldn't have won. They've had injuries. They've had, all that stuff. I personally think he's done enough. When you consider what else is out there as well, I think he's done enough for a 2-year deal. And that's coming from a guy that thought he was gone before ball was kicked to that this year.
Yeah, and once the ball was kicked, he looked more gone. Realistically, like at the end of week 2, he was Gonski. There was not a hope in hell he could keep that job. They were playing Melbourne that week. They beat them, but it couldn't have started worse. You got to remember as well. They went all the way to Vegas to get their ass handed to them. Came back, they're in 6th place. They're flying.
Yeah,
they're in 6th, but they're in 3rd really.
Yeah, if you give them their bye.
Yep, good
That's
point.
what's crazy. I think. Look, I understand the board's hesitation because I've been there too with Peyton, where he has these streaks. But it's like if you're not going to reward him for a 2-year deal for what he's doing, then there's essentially nothing he could do aside from winning a comp that would get a 2-year deal for you.
I didn't realize they hadn't had a bye. Don't all the Vegas teams tend to get byes in the first few weeks? They just.
I'm not sure. All I know is if you look at how many wins
Split
they've
round, isn't it? So you come back and it's still round 1.
So
Yeah, sure. But the last few years, the Vegas teams have got the byes in the early parts of the season. I'm pretty sure if you go
The draw hasn't made sense for 100 years. I don't think it's going to make sense now.
But Cowboys have 8 wins, and the Roosters have 7 wins, who are 3rd. So Cowboys technically.
Yeah, wow. Well, more so to the point.
Yeah, you gotta. I just think you gotta.
I think you have to. Yeah.
Unless there's something I don't know about. Look, I don't mean a 5-year deal, but I think at the very least a 2-year deal he's earned that. Especially when you consider look at the young guys he's brought through that are killing it. Look what he's managed to do with Jake Clifford. Look how much better the guys that he's backed in and that Peyton, seems to really like as players. They've all gotten so much better. McKaylee was a guy that had all this potential that would never reach. Has all of a sudden become one of the better front rows in the competition. You've got Chester, who's a fullback that's gone to be on one of the fire centers in the comp. You've got Purdue. You've got Labutt, who's getting through his work. You've got Burns, who's in career best form when he's on the field. Clifford, Dearden. Marnie's in,
yes.
I don't know if he's career best form, but he's definitely playing better than he was in the last couple of years.
Yep.
So it's when you look at that, that's Peyton that's brought that out of it. Or at the very least, the current setup you've got has brought the best out of it. So it'd be interesting to see. I understand their hesitancy. I really do because they're a streaky side, the Cowboys. But anyway, on to the Rabbitohs.
Also, all that stuff I said about Vegas teams and buy round, I'm talking completely out of my ass.
Okay, fair enough.
There's no relevance there.
We've all been there.
Just went through and checked it.
We've all been there. Rabbitohs quickly. The Rabbitohs quickly. To be honest, there's not really that much to talk about in regards to did I see anything new from the Rabbitohs that makes me go, oh, this or that. There is a concern is did I see something that I'm seeing as a pattern for the Rabbitohs is just their inability to get into an arm wrestle and just stay in the arm wrestle and let the game unfurl itself. They just force the issue so much. And I get it. You've got a crazy good attacking side. But I just wish sometimes they would just go, you know what? Let's play old school Wayne Bennett football, which is 4 normal hit-ups, kick to the corner, go again. I just feel like they're not willing to get into the arm wrestle because they rely so heavily on the fact that they can break you apart at any point. Now, I know they were missing quite a few players. I get that. I really do. But I just think it was an opportunity lost. Before Tamalolo came back on the field, it looked like they were going to run them down or at the very least make it a close game. Tamalolo came on the field and they just couldn't go with the pace. I'll go to you first, Matty. Thoughts on the Rabbitohs' performance?
It's been the year so far, inconsistent. I think my South tips, what I genuinely think is going to happen, have only the Sharks are more confusing for me because the times where I finally think, all right, South's going to get beat here, they pull off a great performance. Example against the Sharks, example against the Storm. Look, they were missing players. I didn't I tipped South, but deep down I did not expect them to win. I think Cowboys, they didn't have Dearden, but they were full we were missing all our Origin players, blah blah. But it's just frustrating. You don't know who's going to turn up.
Do you have faith that they can win a grinding game?
Well, no. Why? They haven't done it this year at all. If you look at all their games,
maybe Tigers, maybe against the Tigers.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that was probably the one. There was a 30-40 win against the Dolphins. Then there was a loss to the Roosters. Then the Tigers win. But since then, it was a close game against the Bulldogs, but South were always in control then. They lost a shootout to the Raiders. They smashed the Dragons. They smashed the Storm. They lost a shootout to the Knights. They smashed the Sharks. And then they got pumped by the Dolphins. So they're showing signs of a team that might scrape into the 8 if everything goes right. But I don't know. It's it's frustrating because I'm not sure what team's going to turn up.
Well, you have these moments, these 10-minute periods or 20-minute periods where you go, oh, that team's going to win the comp. And then another 20 minutes where you're like,
Perfect example of our year was the Knights game, I think. We scored 38 points and we lost the game.
I think the answer to that question is no. You don't think they can grind out a game. They can outscore a team in a shootout. But as far, I just keen to see them against a Warriors or Penrith. Like they haven't played either of those sides yet, have they?
No.
No.
Our next game is against Manly at Brookvale.
that's a big. And will you have your boys back by then, do you think, most of your players?
Is that an Origin round? I'm not sure. I think I think it's good. I think
that one's I think that one will be good. You play the Panthers in round 18. That's the week of Origin 3. That'll be without those players. So they don't play the Warriors until round 25, and they don't play the Panthers until round 18.
Thoughts on Jai Gray?
Yeah, what's going on there?
What's doing there?
So there were whispers for the game that he was going to be out because he's injured. There's no way they dropped. Like he's been one of our best players this year, and he had a really good game against the Sharks. And that was only 2 weeks ago. So he couldn't have been right.
Could it be a good old-fashioned Wayne Bennett mind game where you've got this guy that if you are going to do damage, he's going to have to star, little kick up the butt?
Maybe, and maybe did that coincide with, all right, well, we'll give Dufty his 100th game to start at fullback? Maybe.
Because Wayne has been known to do that. Like he's got this key player that he needs to be red hot hitting the finals footy and they get dropped or whatever it was. But
there were injury whispers coming to the game, so maybe that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, look, Dufty's still, 329 metres, 107 post-contact, 8 tackle breaks, a line break assist. It's just the errors.
He had a mixed game, yeah.
Just the errors, whereas I don't recall Jai being someone I have to worry about errors with as much.
No.
And to be fair to Dufty, I thought there was a couple of plays that he did come up with that Jai Gray probably doesn't have in his kit bag. I think the first try, the pass that he threw to Penatani, I think it was.
Yep.
Like Jai doesn't have that in his kit bag at the moment, but I was very surprised to see that change. And even more surprised to see Jai knock it on the field at all, which does make me lean towards that he probably wasn't 100%.
Has to be, especially when the game was on the line. You're not bringing Jai Gray on, one of the most explosive players in the comp. I thought the young fella Penatani looks a goods. Good. I mean, I know he did his hammy, which sucks.
I think it's like South fan was telling me last night. Apparently, it's like his 5th or 6th hamstring in the last 2 years. Saying like,
when I see stuff like that, you got to find a way to lose muscle. In my opinion, obviously, go to NRL physio. Ask him; he'll know more than me. Just got to lose muscle mass. In my opinion, get yourself lighter because he's fit. He's fit as anything. It's not about he's not carrying bad weight. He's just a big boy. Like you look at his legs and that. I wonder whether lose a few kilos to put less strain on your hammies. But look, when he was on the field and he looked outstanding, like powerful, great footwork, made the right decisions, fast, a lot to like there.
Yeah, I think he's also, I think long term he'll be a centre, not a winger as well. I don't think he's playing his best position at the moment. I thought the pass that Ashton Ward threw to him as well, that was a cracker.
Yeah. Ward's an interesting one, isn't he? Because he didn't actually have his best game, but he just had these like little moments where you go, fuck, I love Ashton Ward.
I loved it because he had 2 shocking moments in the first half. So the intercept, obviously. Then the one where he kicked it dead. Was that the first half or the second half? But it was early on in the game. And then he
Huge momentum shifter. Had 2 back-to-back errors in it.
Yeah, bad errors. But he still had some really good moments. I like Ashton Ward.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. And I don't mind Humphries coming off the bench because he actually came on and I actually thought he was quite good off the bench, Humphries. Okay. Anyway, we'll be quick here, guys, because we've got to wrap it up. We apologise. But let's face a bit of music brought to you by Sportsbet.
Let's do it. We have got the full complement of games this week and Origin. We'll finish with Origin in a moment. But let's start first and foremost. Friday, 8 p.m. Have I got that right?
Yeah. No. Yes.
Yeah, Friday, 8 p.m. Sharkies versus Manly.
Wow.
Sharkies $1.67, Manly $2.22. 2.5 points is the line at Shark Park on
There's some
Friday.
value afoot, Kempy.
Yeah, there is this week.
There be value.
Okay. 220 for Manly head-to-head. And you're going to get like Olakawatu and Colin might back up. Okay. Mate, I'm taking Manly head-to-head. Fuck.
222.
Yep. I'm going to, if you're going to give me 2.5, I'll take that. Manly plus 2.5.
Yep.
Yeah, me too. Plus 1.5.
Yep. I'll just take him head to head, Manly. $2.22. Then we're on to Super Saturday Nights. $1.28 hosts the Parramatta Eels $3.70. 12.5 points is the line up there at Newcastle.
Para 13 plus.
Para 13 plus, get you $10.
I need something.
Give me Newcastle 13 plus.
$1.94.
Actually, you know what? It's going to be boring for the listeners if I just keep fucking Hail Marrying it because they're not actually getting what I really think of the game. So I'm going to start tipping properly, as in.
Oh, okay.
Make money.
Yeah,
So
sure.
just
Do
so
whatever
see
you
how
need
that
to
goes
do,
for
pal.
I'm going to go. I am going to go Newcastle 13 plus.
Power 13 plus.
I think Iongi
$1.94.
and Co are back this week, so I'm gonna go Para with the start.
Interesting.
12.5, isn't it?
12.5, yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
hang on
probably
a sec.
fair too. Like, if you're Newcastle, do you back KP up here? You probably don't, do you?
probably not.
Not with how they're flying. Yeah, okay, wait a sec.
Don't need him. Fletcher Sharp, Fletcher Hunt. List goes on.
Yeah, I'll keep my tip.
Yeah, I'm going to go Knights 1 to 12, 325. All right, Tigers, $5. Tigers at 5:30 p.m. They're $1.85 favourites against the Dogs, $1.98. Lines 1.5 points at CommBank.
So you get Appy back this week.
Yep, hopefully Buller back as well. Maybe Twal,
Dogs 1 to 12.
Yeah, Dogs 1 12.
320.
Tigers 13 plus.
Yeah, me too. $3.90, Tigers 13 plus. Storm, $2.02. They host the Roosters, $1.82. The Lions 1.5 points down there in Melbourne.
I can't believe the Roosters aren't way hotter favourites.
Yeah.
What am I missing here?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's weird.
I guess a few of the Origin players might come back for the Storm.
Bro, I'm going Roosters 13 plus.
375.
Give me Roosters head to head.
Roosters head to head.
$1.82. Yeah, I'll go Roosters. I'm going to go Roosters 13 plus 375. There we go. The Broncos, $1.12. Winks like against the Dragons. Uh-oh, danger game, 4 p.m., 2 p.m. Sunday at Suncorp. The line is 19.5 points.
19.5. I'm technically not tipping the Dragons, but I don't mind them with the start. Is that?
That's fine.
But like, I don't want to not tip the Broncos. I'm still tipping the Broncos to win, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
No,
fine.
you've got to tip the Broncos, mate. Fuck that.
But I am, because I'm not saying they'll win. I don't think they'll win by fucking 19 points.
Hold on. If I'm tipping Manly and everything, you have to take the Broncos. I
No,
thought that
but
was the whole
what I'm
point.
saying is, if you let's say someone's playing Manly, you still think Manly's going to win, but there's a 19-point start.
Yeah.
You're still backing your team. You're just saying this team's not going to lose by that much. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'll just
You
go,
do you, mate. You do you.
I'll just go Broncos head to head then. Fuck you.
$1.12.
Yeah, nice, have it. Give me Dragons 1 to 12.
Dragons 1 to 12, get you to 725.
I'll go Dragons with the 19-point start.
Yeah, I'm giving the Dragons a start as well. I think they can keep it under that. Raiders, $1.71. They host the Cowboys, $2.14. What are we talking about? 3.5 points is the line.
Cowboys head to head.
Yep.
What's Cows 13 plus at?
$4.90.
Yeah, fuck it. Give me Cows 13 plus.
Same.
Yep.
Same.
Okay, I'm going to take the Cowboys head-to-head, $2.14. To bring us home for the round of NRL, Panthers, $1.46, host the Wars, $2.72. 7.5 points is the line, 6:15 Sunday at CommBank.
Panthers 1 to 12.
$3.
What's the Wires 1 to 12 at?
$3.80.
I'll take the Wires with the start.
Yep.
Warriors 1 to 12.
Warriors plus 7.5. Yeah, Warriors 1 to 12 for you, matey. $3.80. I'm going to take the Warriors head-to-head, $2.72. I reckon there's going to be a few players that don't back up for the Panthers. Origin on Wednesday night. New South Wales $1.54, Queensland $2.50, 4.5 points is the line. Please give me a result. And also, I want to get a player of the match from you as well.
I'm going Maroons head to head,
Yep, $2.50.
and I'll go player of the match. I'm going to say.
I'm just letting you know I'm having Plath. So $26.
How much is Harry Grant paying?
He's paying $13.
I'll go Harry Grant.
I don't mind that. He's got a couple before. Roo,
Give me New South Wales 1 to 12.
$2.85.
And give me Cameron Murray, MOM.
Cameron Murray,
36.
$36. Off the pine. Okay, Matty.
Blues 1 to 12. Cleary.
Yeah, okay. $2.85 and $5. Nathan Cleary's the favourite. Best backs is actually Mitch Moses at the moment, $13.
There's
I
no
would-
there, Mitchie, at 13s. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take Queensland plus 4.5, and I'm going to take Plath, $26 for man of the match. Good luck, gentlemen.
There you go. That's Face Music, brought to you by Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed. We put our multis up there. We've got all our Origin multis up there. Give Hammy a follow on the feed.
And also Department of Origin, little skit coming out tomorrow with Denon Day-Lewis, some of his best form with Sam Thaiday.
I dug deep on this one. I dug really deep.
Ella Kazma as Dr. Eagle. It's all happening in that one.
Yeah,
Check
dug
it out.
very deep.
Sam Phillips is the random South guy.
Nah, who cares about him?
Hammy Goodman as himself.
You may remember me from something. Okay. As
Role
usual,
I was
guys-
born to play.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Alrighty, that's us done and dusted. We will go and fuck ourselves. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.